do chlárú, gach bliain réir lí leis an mórt honóntochtaí cónathe. Maidir le réadmhíonar cías I gris brú cíasa, tá rialacha áirithe le leanúint agus cías á thocrú agus á bhéadú. Chun ólas agus achfaní áil, chun cearú leat clí leis an tlí cíasa, agus chun pino se hachant, tuaircuairt ar rtb.ie inniu. Arna chur ar fáil ag an mórt honóntochtaí cónathe.
This Christmas, surprise your loved ones with fashion from Evolve Clothing Letterkenny Retail Park. Tommy Hilfiger, Adidas, Carhartt, Levi's, Farah and more. Open 7 days. Join our layaway club today.
Be the first to test drive the brand new Nissan Qashqai at iMotors. Low finance rates and up to €4,000 available on trade-in boosters. iMotors are offering any customer who orders before December 23rd the chance to win €10,000. Visit our showroom today.
iMotors, fearless generation.
The Naughty Alarm Clock.
You got happy with the Naughty Alarm Clock.
Highland Radio.
Well, it is Monday and we're heading over to a man who was chilled out over the weekend. Did you get up to much at the weekend, Greg?
It was quite enough, you know.
Quite enough.
Yeah,
Was you
quite
watching
enough.
movies all weekend?
Watched
stuff?
film. I binge watched
Did you?
Dexter again. It was
Did you?
fantastic. Yeah,
Over
I
the
did,
weekend,
yeah.
fair play to you. How did you do that? Or do the elections?
Just chilled, man. Oh, the elections, yeah.
Yeah, lots of comments coming in. saying
Really? Read them to me.
congratulations.
I'll just sit here and read them.
No. I just didn't want to promote.
What kind of? What would you? If you had to surmise what the comments were like, what was it
Well
kind of?
done to Highland and Greg.
To
and all
Highland
the team.
and Greg, or Greg
Yeah.
and Highland.
Well, no, it was Highland and Greg. Well, the last one that came in was Highland and Greg. Should be all Caroline and the whole team. But it was great. I have to say the coverage was very good. You're not too good at taking compliments, but sure, that's all right. Below you that.
What's going on here?
What do you mean? What's going on?
I was using a different desk yesterday. Sorry, one sec.
Take your
Yeah,
time.
no, I was using
That's
a different
me.
desk yesterday. Right, I'm back.
Are you
What were you
focused?
saying? Sorry, Leo.
No, just saying well done. It was good coverage.
Yeah,
Do you
it
know?
was
I
good,
know
it
as
was good.
we're saying well done. Like I work here, but I'm saying it was.
Oh
good,
no, yeah, but I think it's great to be there and see democracy in action, whether people like it or not. You know, people are waking up today with a whole range of emotions, euphoria, sadness, and what have you. But what I hope we did over the weekend was bring people into the Count Centre.
Yeah.
You know, I would hope that it would make more people get out and vote and engage, but they don't, and that's right. That's people's decisions.
But it was
I'd
there was
never
great.
preach
So
to anyone.
like if you missed something, you could jump on the social feeds, or you could check in and see he's all in there
Ah,
in
yeah, but
action
sure, look,
and stuff.
That's what we.
Yeah.
Someone says that to me. Says we're blessed. We're very lucky. We're very lucky to be in a position where we can do that. You know,
Yeah.
we're not lucky. It's not hardship. We're lucky.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was a great thing to be a part of.
You had a good mix on the panels and stuff as well.
Yeah.
It was good. I'd crack.
Lee, thank you very much.
Well, come here. What are you going to be talking about today?
You'd be surprised. a good mix. A good mix of different stuff.
We have a good show.
Didn't start itself.
Didn't?
I thought it was going to be really smooth.
But you like that big red button thing on the end of that? Mine
Yeah.
you says make sure it's red.
Yes. I
That's
know.
stop. Red's for stop, Greg.
Lee, come here.
Green.
Have a good Monday. Did you
You-
put your tree up yet?
No, I didn't. I planned it the weekend, but no. Well, we'll get it done this week.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll compare pictures.
No, we won't. Because you'll be better than mine.
He won't be. All right, Lee. Take
good
care.
luck.
Thanks very much indeed. That is the one and only Lee Gooch, who's back with you tomorrow morning at Lahathrei Shocked. All right, it is just after 9 o'clock, a minute past 9. Let's get a news update. And it's over to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. As the dust settles on election 2024, new and returning TDs are preparing for the next Dáil term, while others are contemplating their futures. When the count concluded last night, the 5 TDs confirmed for the Donegal constituency were Pearse Doherty and Padraig McLaughlin of Sinn Féin, Pat the Cope Gallagher and Charlie McConaughey of Fianna Fáil, and Charles Ward of the 100% Redress Party. Speaking after his election, Charles Ward told Highland Radio News that while the defective bloc's crisis will be his top priority, he won't just be a single issue representative.
I will be a voice for the ordinary communities that have been disenfranchised by politics. The 100% Redress Party is fighting for defective homes, but the 100% Redress Party is made up of people who are nurses, doctors, healthcare workers, shop assistants, all sorts, and that's us. We're the ordinary working people.
Meanwhile, outgoing TD Thomas Pringle lost his seat, having been first elected to Donegal County Council in 1999 and to Dáil Éireann in 2011. He says he'll take stock before making any decisions about his future. but politics is in his blood.
I have to take a bit of time for myself now and have to think about it and see what I'm going to do and that, and then see where we go after that. When I started off in politics in the first place, I never expected that I would still be here 25 years later, and when I got elected at all, I didn't expect I'd still be there 15 years later too as well. So that's a great privilege and an honour, and we'll have to see in the future what holds.
Well, the counting of votes also finished in the Sligo Leitrim and South Donegal constituency in the early hours of this morning. 4 TDs elected. Outgoing Fine Gael Deputy Frank Feehan topped the poll, followed by Sinn Féin's Martin Kenny and Fianna Fáil's Eamon Scanlon, who's returning after losing his seat in 2020. Independent Marion Harkin's vote fell, but transfers brought her over the line on the 13th count. She had been in 7th place after the first count. Well, nationally, counting of votes resumes this morning. 161 TDs elected to the 34th Dáil so far. 12 seats still vacant. Emily Keegan has this report.
12 seats are yet to be filled in the next Dáil, with counting complete in 38 of the 43 constituencies so far. Counts in Louth, Cavan Monaghan, Tipperary North and Kildare North are continuing this morning, while a recount has been requested by a People Before Profit candidate in Cork North Central. 35 votes separate Mick Barry and Labour's Owen Kenny. Outgoing Minister for Health Stephen Donnelly is the latest candidate to lose their seat, becoming the most high-profile loss of the election so far. The Fianna Fáil minister missed out on the final spot in Wicklow this morning, with Fine Gael's Edward Timmins getting in instead. As it stands, Fianna Fáil are on 43 seats, followed by Fine Gael and Sinn Féin, who both have 36. The Social Democrats have 11 seats, while Labour has 9. The Green Party has just one elected TD, following leader Roderick O'Gorman's win in Dublin West yesterday afternoon.
Well, the forecast, plenty of dry weather today with long spells of sunshine, just some showers, top temperatures 5 to 7 degrees Celsius, light to moderate northwest winds becoming light westerly by this evening. And that's Highland Radio News. Back with news in full at 10 o'clock. Check all of today's news on the website, highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning.
At Irish Life, we've been helping people make smart investments for over 80 years. For actual trusted advice for your money, search Irish Life or contact your financial broker or advisor. A better life with Irish Life. Irish Life Assurance plc is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Irish Life Financial Services Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Irish Life Financial Services is tied to Irish Life Assurance for life and pension products.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest, the 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning. You're very welcome along to the 9 till Noon Show here on Highland Radio. It is just turning 5 minutes past 9 on this Monday, the 2nd of December. You're very welcome along to the programme. And just to catch up on what we were talking to Lee Gooch about just before 9 o'clock, thank you so much for all of your interaction and feedback as it relates to the weekend's local general election coverage. We were down at the Aura and it was in no doubt it was no doubt a marathon. We stuck there throughout Saturday. I think we were on air for 17 or 18 hours on Saturday and then on Sunday for another 16 hours. But we got there in the end, actually. Fair play to the staff down there. Got it all done and dusted in the early hours of this morning. It's just, I suppose, 7 hours ago since we switched off or signed off from the Aura Leisure Centre. And as I said to Lee Gooch a little earlier on, and I can't speak for everyone, but maybe I can, it was an absolute privilege to be in a position or to have the job or the platform to be able to do such what feels like a significant thing in keeping people in touch with democracy, those of you who were interested in it. And it was great fun. We had obviously all of our listeners listening and texting in throughout the course of the weekend. We had a great crew, thousands of you watching across our social media. We streamed this show, as we are doing right now, across YouTube, the X platform, Facebook, and on our website. And between all of that, we were registering more views than some programs that have been on regular telly. Do you know, that sort of way? So that was the level of that was the level of kind of involvement and participation, which was fantastic. And when all is said and done, the people have spoken, albeit just slightly less than 60% of the voting population in Donegal. Pearse Doherty topped the poll, of course. One of the best, biggest sort of returns for any politician across the country. He certainly is a vote getter. Pádraig McLaughlin, his running mate, was not too far behind him. Both of those were elected in the early hours of Sunday morning. And then we waited and we waited and we talked and we filled. And throughout the whole Sunday, it was really, really interesting. The ebbs and flows. Where's it going to go? Who's going to get in? Who's going to miss out? The one thing when you're there, you sort of are privy to the emotion of it. You know, you can see the nervousness, you can see the confidence, then you can see the, oh, I was overconfident, we're not going to get in, and it, on and on and on and on it went. And you had, 3 nervous camps. Obviously, Pat the Cope Gallagher, it was clear on Saturday night into Sunday morning that he was going to go head back to the Dáil. But then it came down to sort of a situation whereby there were 3 for 2, and 3 into 2 don't go, does it? It doesn't go. And as I say, ebbed and flowed. Charles Ward from 100% Redress, he was a real machine in terms of soaking up transfers right across the county. It really was quite remarkable. And he really was the transfer king, a title he took from Thomas Pringle, who missed out. I don't know, many of you out there would be very fond of Thomas Pringle, the same as many of you out there are fond of all of the candidates and former TDs or current TDs. But he missed out, so that's the end of Thomas's time in the Dáil for now, at least. It was a nail-biting experience, I imagine, for Charlie McConnell-Logue. It was down to the wire. But in fairness to Niall Blaney, when Niall Blaney called the figures early on, it played out like that. There was a moment where Nicky Bradley sort of leaped over Noel Jordan, and that kind of put Thomas Pringle in quite a bit of bother, and their pathway was kind of unravelling from there. But as it played out, anyway, the last 2 seats then were taken by 100% Redress, Charles Ward, and also then Fianna Fáil's Charlie McConnell-Logue. He is back in government. I'll just read some of the newspapers this morning. Derry People, Donegal News, they're slightly disadvantaged in they have to go to press before, obviously because it's such a late finish, before the conclusion of matters. Louise Doyle writes, while counting continued in the general election at the Ora Leisure Centre in Letterkenny last night, elation and misery emerged as running mates. Nice turn of phrase. Sinn Féin returned 2 of its 3 candidates, with Pearse Doherty elected on the first count late on Saturday night, having topped the poll with 18,898 first preference votes, far exceeding the quota of 12,771. Pádraig McLaughlin eased over the line, as I mentioned, a few hours later when he garnered 3,296 from Pearse Doherty's surplus votes of 6,127 to see him elected on the second count on 13,095 votes. Fine Gael have suffered a bruising defeat, with history most certainly made in Donegal, as the party has failed to elect a TD to the Dáil for the first time since the 1930s. And I ran through much of the rest of it. I presume we might talk a little bit about that a little later on. I don't know if there's apathy in relation to that, but I'm also conscious that many of you are tuning in that are regular listeners that perhaps listen to none of that coverage. So we'll try and get the balance right for you today. The Derry News this morning, a large crowd attended a rally aimed at bringing communities together in their opposition to gender-based violence over the weekend. The Reclaim the Night rally and march was held on Saturday evening as part of a 16 days of activism against gender-based violence taking place across the north. The march was one of several actions that came out of a special meeting of Derry City and Strabane District Council recently to discuss the recent attacks in the city and district, when it was agreed that the council would endorse 10 key actions presented by the Foyle Women's Information and other community organisations. On to the tabloids now. On to the nationals now, I beg your pardon. The Irish Times, Labour and Social Democrats wary of joining Fianna Fáil Fine Gael coalition. I was overly maybe hyper-focused on local situations. Fianna Fáil had an amazing election. They'll be very, very pleased with how they fared. Fine Gael are in a decent spot as well, as is Sinn Féin. There's an awful lot of sort of, I suppose, reflection on the various campaigns, but the bottom line is the current government is going to be just 1 or 2 shy of being able effectively to enter government on their own. Clearly they won't, right? Because you need others to support you, so there's a bit of a buffer. You know, maybe someone might lose the whip. Maybe there might be a vote of confidence. Maybe, you know, there's other reasons as to why you need a good group there with you as well. But the bottom line is the government has been returned. The people have said, those that wanted to vote have said, this is what we want for the next 5 years. And amid signs of wariness in both Labour and the Social Democrats about joining a Fianna Fáil Fine Gael coalition, newly elected independent TDs have been declaring their willingness to support a new government. Because I presume they go in there with a wish list, don't they? So that's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and deliver for their areas. As counts continued last night, Fianna Fáil is certain to be the largest party in the new Dáil, with its seat numbers expected to be in the mid to high 40s. And Fianna Fáil also won the largest share of votes with 21.9% of the total, with Fine Gael expected to win a slightly lower number of seats, likely to be in the late 30s or perhaps reaching 40. A coalition of the big parties, the big two, is now seen to be, two of the big three, is now seen to be by most politicians as inevitable. Depending on final counts, the two parties are likely to be within a handful of seats of a Dáil majority of 88. However, it is much less clear who might provide the third part of such a coalition. And I suppose the Soc Dems at 9, the Labour Party at 8, that was the state of affairs when the paper went to print. They might want to build on that and see how they can progress. There is a vote even for Social Democrats here. It's not huge, but you can see that there is potential for them to build. You know what happens when a smaller party goes in with the big two. We've seen what happens. The Green Party, one person so far elected, according to the front of the paper here. So we'll see. It's different for independents because they can go in with a wish list, deliver for their constituents, or at least be seen to be doing so. And there you go. Staying with the Greens, Roderick O'Gorman will be the only Green Party TD in the Dáil, as he saved his party from total election wipeout last night. So Aintu now are bigger than the Greens. 100% redress are equal in size to the Green Party now in the Dáil. Quite remarkable, really, isn't it? The party leader retained his seat in Dublin West without reaching the quota. He joins Fianna Fáil's Jack Chambers, Sinn Féin's Paul Donnelly, Fine Gael's Emma Curry, and People Before Profit Solidarity's Ruth Coppinger as the TD for the area. So there you go. Hutch lost out. He was close to getting in. This is Jerry the Monk Hutch. He's ruled out a run for the Aris, but why would he? What would the platform be for running for the Aris? He got a relatively tiny, not a relatively tiny vote. I mean, he was in with a chance, I suppose. I just don't think the tabloids want to let him go. Do you know what I mean? What would be the context for him running for the Irish when he can't get a seat in his own constituency? But anyway, they've asked him the question. He's ruled out a run for the Irish, but admitted he enjoyed running in the general election. He told reporters who gathered around him in a large scrum yesterday, "I love running. I've been running all of my life." Hutch, who was recently allowed to travel back from Spain while on bail for money laundering charges, was in the mix to secure a seat in Dublin Central until the final count. It was eventually won by Labour Party's Marie Sherlock, who is has ties actually to this part of the world. On to, and in fact, we don't have all the papers today. I would imagine papers were going late to press, and that means they're late getting up here if they ever get up here at all. If the truth be told, that's the only reason I can imagine why we're so shy on newspapers here. But Kirsty Allsop is the latest figure to accuse Greg Wallace of inappropriate behaviour amid backlash over the MasterChef presenter yesterday, blaming middle-class women of a certain age for the controversy. He was in a hole. He got his shovel out over the weekend and started digging like no one's business. Wallace, who's 60, left the BBC programme on Thursday after claims were made by 13 people that he made a number of inappropriate sexual comments. Speaking in a video posted on his Instagram page, he said, "I can see the complaints coming from a handful of middle-class women of a certain age. Just from Celebrity MasterChef, this isn't right." Presenter Kirsty Allsop, best known for Channel 4 property show Location, responded to his remarks by claiming that Wallace made unprofessional comments about a sex act when they were filming a pilot for a TV show. And as I say, there's quite a number, there's quite a number of people making the same accusations. It's another, I can't imagine him being seen on the TV much into the future, because it's not like they'll be contested in a forum whereby he'll ever be vindicated. if that makes sense. So I'd say his career is pretty banjack, certainly on the BBC, ITV, etc. So this week we are at the start of December now. So this week we have a couple of competitions running for you. We've got a really nice one, which I wouldn't mind right now, actually. This week's show, with thanks to the Silver Tassie Hotel and Seascape Spa, we're giving you the chance to win their Pamper Me Please package worth €130. The luxurious 2.5-hour spa package includes an aromatic steam session and cocoon room, a hot towel foot and back cleanse, a stress-relieving back massage, a Yonka facial with face and scalp massage, a pressure point foot massage, and snooze room relaxation time with refreshments. Now, to be in with a chance of winning this fantastic prize on Friday, just simply answer this question. Which Christmas song mentions a one-horse open sleigh? Which Christmas song mentions a one-horse open sleigh? Is it A, Jingle Bells, or is it B, White Christmas? And to be in with a chance, it costs you nothing. Just WhatsApp us, or text for that matter. But text or WhatsApp your answer, your name and address to 086 60 25,000. Which Christmas song mentions a one-horse open sleigh? A, Jingle Bells, or B, White Christmas? And thanks to our friends at the Silver Tassie Hotel and Seascape Spa, you could win the Pamper Me Please package, which is very, very exciting. And I'll come back to that when the writing's a little bit bigger. It's another competition we have in association with Cadbury. Right, morning, Greg. Did you get any sleep? You'll need buckets of coffee. That comes in from Steve. He did get sleep, of course. I have it. It is, yep. Highland was fantastic during the election, just excellent and so interesting. Thank you all so much. Thanks for your lovely feedback. I do appreciate it. Hi, Greg. You did an excellent job with keeping us up to date with the counting. We listened to it all. Well done. I was very disappointed in Charlie when you interviewed him after 11. He let himself down. He was taking a personal swipe at you. Held it well. Good work, everyone. But you know what? It's everyone's entitled to have their say, and that's fine. That was his view. Hi, I feel it's a miserable result for the main opposition party running against an apparent unpopular government, some of whom have been in power for around 13 years. With all the unresolved issues, also there is an additional 14 seats. Well done to all the presenters. Thanks you very much as well. But again, I'm sorry to be repeating myself, but I said ages ago in this show that the two parties are popular, and it was likely that they would form the next government. Nothing about this surprised me, because a lot of people are okay and are happy with the way things are, and that was the result. Now, people might not like it, some might like it, but the reality is those who do like it came out and voted in greater numbers, and that is, for what it is, democracy. Right, we'll be back with more. In fact, our first guests on the show after this break.
Daily newspapers are courtesy of Cosgrove, Centra and Diner, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Have you got your tickets for the Highland Radio Christmas concert? Get ready for a night of great music on Monday, December the 9th in the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny. You can enjoy an incredible lineup with Mike Denver and his band, John McNichol, Jim Devine, Donna Taggart, Owen Mack and me, David James. Get your tickets now at the outlet at highlandradio.com, Alexander's Bala Buffet, the Cope Dunlow, the Mount Errigal Hotel, Simpsons Bar Carndonagh, or give us a call on 074 91 25000. Don't miss this Christmas cracker.
During pregnancy, it's easy to pick up viruses around young children from spit, snot, pee and poo. Some can be harmful. Always wash your hands and avoid sharing cups and cutlery. Visit mychild.ie for advice on pregnancy, baby and toddler health.
Introducing Flow for Men, my new fragrance collection of products created to keep you feeling fresh and looking sharp. The ideal gift for the man in your life. Find Flow in pharmacies nationwide or online at flowbybo.com. Start every day with confidence.
The Clarence Gift with Beauty is available at McElhinney's for a limited time only. Buy 2 Clarence products, one to be moisturiser or serum, and receive 4 beauty essentials free with your purchase. Stock up on your favourite Clarence products or try something new. Shop Clarence at McElhinney's and get a free gift.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time now is 22 minutes past 9. Right, Michael Doherty is a lead campaigner in the Defective Block campaign, previously MAG PRO, and it's just getting some reaction to yesterday's events at the Ora Leisure Centre. What are the emotions this morning, Michael?
Good morning, Greg. How you doing? I would say it's bittersweet this morning is how I would describe it. First thing I want to do is congratulate Charles Ward, soon to be Deputy Charles Ward TD, and I think that's an absolutely momentous result for himself, for the hard work of the 100% Redress Party, and I think that's a dream come true from a campaign perspective. It came at no loss to Sinn Féin either in terms of the TDs, and I know there was sensitivity around the Patrick McLaughlin might that damage, and that didn't pan out to be a concern at all, which is what my own feelings were as well on it. So that came through, and I think we've got a very strong message from Donegal to Dublin, bearing in mind that we have a situation where we have McConalogue beaten by Ward, a novice beating a sitting minister, and then they tell us that there's no issue with the DCB scheme as far as Donegal and the other affected counties is concerned. I think that says a lot there.
Yeah, but the electorate came out and returned Charlie McConalogue. He polled higher than the redress candidate in Inishowen. So it's an endorsement really too of his stance as well, that this is a scheme that needs ongoing review, but it's a scheme that clearly, in the eyes of the electorate, is not as bad as some have been making out.
Yeah, I think this is why it's important that Charles Ward's down there as an affected homeowner, that's living it, the lived experience of a homeowner down there. And, there will be the independents down there, there'll be others he'll be able to talk to and hopefully try and influence as well and get a body of weight in behind, the rights of what it is that the campaign has been demanding all along, and that's a proper 100% redress. The difficulty and the bittersweet part comes from us is that Sinn Féin didn't do as well nationally as what we had hoped for. If ahead of Charles Ward would have been down pushing on an open door, at the moment is going to be down pushing on the same doors we've been pushing all along. The doors that even Joe McHugh tried to push on to try and get penalty-free downsizing and transfer of eligibility, which was going to cost the state nothing. And they wouldn't even see him right on that. So it's going to be a massive learning curve for Charles Ward as a new TD. But I believe he's got the passion, he's got the fire in his belly, and he'll make his voice heard down there. As far as the Charlie McConalogue bit is concerned, I think we have to acknowledge the fact that he's scraped in here, Greg. That's the reality of it. He's scraped in here. Mm-hmm. And, with the machine that is the Fianna Fáil party, a government party, a sitting minister, I think when we take all that into account, Charles Ward was up against Goliath here, and I think he's come out the right side of that. Yeah, but Charlie McConalogue also, to try and be fair, Michael, was up against Goliath as well. We know that defective concrete is not just an Inishowen issue. We know it's around much of Donegal and in many, many other counties, if not all of them. Who's to say how this might transpire? And in the face of all of that, and living amongst the houses that you talk of, whilst you can frame it that he's scraped in, at the end of the day, he's in. And that's the democratic will of the people. And I know you're not questioning the democratic will of the people, but it is going to be, and it has to be seen as a vindication of him and what the government has delivered here in Donegal. I think we as a people of Donegal, I honestly have to say, I think we let ourselves down here in this election. I do. We were sitting at a 58% turnout there, which was the national average. We should have been sitting at 75% turnout for the issues that we have in Donegal, the issues that we'll be dealing with for the next 5 and 10 years regarding defective concrete blocks. And, again, that, you could call it apathy. You could call it, we'll leave it to somebody else to do it. We did try to remind people of the need, to get on this bus, because it's 5 years before the next bus comes around here. And, it didn't get the response that it should have got overall. And with some parts of Donegal in particular, that was very, very poor in turnout. And when that tends to happen, you find that you've got, underdogs, the likes of what the defective concrete block end would have been, just didn't, the people that was needed, the neighbours that were needed to come out and support those that are affected at the minute. And I'm saying at the minute because there's quite possibly the people that didn't come out to vote will find themselves affected in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and 10 years.
But many of those
and then
people,
they'll be looking back to see what we could have done.
Yeah, but many of those people feel they probably did their duty in fairness, Michael, because if they were so inclined to vote for an end-to-end scheme, many of them probably did turn out and voted for Sinn Féin. Even some leading people in the campaign were endorsing Sinn Féin and Charles Ward, don't get me wrong, but many of them were saying, Sinn Féin are the party that could be in government. They're the ones that could deliver end to end. You know what I mean? And the big turnout, turnout for Sinn Féin could be the same people who were motivated, did get out and made up for those who maybe were apathetic about things in general. We don't know that really.
Yes.
I mean, you can look at the figures, but my point is that many people who you're talking of probably did go out and they thought, right, I'm sitting in this house now, I have a choice. I can send one person down to Dublin, or I can vote for the party that, if they get into power, is promising end to end.
Yes, but only 58% come out is my first point, and that should have been much, much higher for a county of the level of issues that we had around defective concrete blocks. But the other point I want to make out here is regards the push for Sinn Féin, and certainly I pushed that, and I know Paddy Dever pushed that, and there's no apology needed on that front, and the reason simply is this. We've said all along for the last couple of years, from come June 22, when all our amendments were through to the one side by the current government, the amendments that would have addressed all of the issues that people are still wrestling with today, that opportunity that they had to do the right thing wasn't done. And I was on your show and I made it very clear at that time what we needed was a change of government. We tried to change the government in terms of their approach, but we never could do that. So it come down to simply this: if you can't change the government, you change the government. And that's what we were hell-bent on doing. And that's where the Sinn Féin drive was needed, because we worked very, very hard, and I got involved again back in November of last year, and we put together the People's Document. The People's Document was what we believed to be the definition of a true 100% redress. We worked damn hard with Sinn Féin. Because why Sinn Féin? Because they were the only opposition party that had a chance of making a dent in the formation of the next government, a serious dent, and possibly lead it. And for that reason, we had to go down that road.
Of course, I'm not criticising, but that's if the dust settled, they delivered, and often, parties don't deliver, but I suppose you never know unless you give someone a chance. What does this mean for the defective block campaign now? Because unless something miraculous happens, not miraculous, sorry, very surprising happens, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have an incredibly strong mandate. They're going to be at sort of 86, 87 votes, which is what's required to form a government. They're going to be bolstered by probably 10, 12 independents, and will be in a very, very strong position to absorb people giving up the party whip, having it removed, or, the other votes of no confidence and what have you. So they're in a very, very strong position. The people of Ireland and Donegal have returned them there. Sinn Féin are facing 4 or 5 years of opposition, which means, now and again, these issues will be raised and they'll be debated. And you know what people say. They'll say we need end to end. And then the government say we've given you a good scheme. We'll review it and it's increased by such and such. So that's the political landscape for the next 5 years. Of course, Charles Ward will go down there. He'll walk the Dáil. He is an affected homeowner. He will be a voice for homeowners down there. But as an individual with the power of the government, what he can achieve in real terms might be difficult for him. So where does that leave? I can't see a situation where you can bring 30,000 people to Dublin again, right? So where does that actually leave the defective block campaign as a collection of individuals going forward? Is this the end of that part of trying to achieve 100% redress? I'm not being negative. I'm just trying to find out what the reality of the landscape is now for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that what we needed was a change of government to make this happen. And there's no misalignment there in terms of that desire between, the 100% Redress Party from anybody that's in the leading campaigns outside of that party. Everybody was aligned on that. What we needed was a change of government. That didn't happen. That wasn't through lack of effort out of Donegal. I do think the other affected counties could have done more. You look at the drive that was put on by Donegal, and you look to see where was that paralleled elsewhere. It didn't happen. So, there is a bit of, you reap what you sow. As far as the campaign is concerned, it needs, and I think it will grow legs as other counties become deeper in the mire that we're in Donegal, and that will happen over time. We've got 13 affected counties. There's nothing to say that 100% Redress Party that this is basically the acorn here of the oak tree that eventually grows, because there's nothing to say that, albeit 5 years, which is the unfortunate part for Donegal, people who are already so far down this journey of defective concrete blocks, but for the other counties that are still out there in the early doors of it, another 5 years' time, you could see that you've got 4 or 5 other counties returning TDs into the 100% Redress Party as well. So I believe there are legs on all of that. For us in Donegal, I think we have got to suck up the fact that we could have done more. I do believe that 58% was a disappointment for us. It was a letdown to a lot of people that drove very, very hard on this campaign. Thankfully, we got Charles Ward over the line, and he's down there, and he'll fly the flag and keep it going. But as I say, he's going to have a very, very difficult job ahead for all the reasons you've outlined. Well, we might have 2 Fianna Fáil TDs, including a sitting minister, but that hasn't manifested itself in the returns you would have expected from the cabinet table, and simply because it seemed to be career limiting to go push for the type of scheme that we know we need, that I believe the minister knows we need, but he may not feel that appetite around the table was there for it, and it wasn't going to go out too far in a limb.
Well,
to make that
who's
happen.
to say how things go? Because he was a minister. He's no longer a minister. He's an outgoing minister. Who's to say how the portfolios break down, and who's to say, if who's to say how vocal he can be if he's not the minister, or what his views might be? I don't know. They might be the exact same, but we just don't know, and we'll just have to wait for things to unfold. Michael, thank you very much indeed for that. Go ahead.
Sorry, Greg. Just something I do want to say before it goes well. I think that just taking the moment here to go back and just reflect on what we got out of this here. We have to give and go back on the journey where we had Anne Owens and Eileen Doherty. At the very beginning, we had the Mike Action Group and my own time there with Eamon Jackson. We have Lisa Hone. We have got the likes of Lisa Healy, who's the 100% Redress guru and behind Paddy Divers' page. And we've got Roisin Gallagher there. And, all of that contributed at different stages and with different levels of effectiveness depending on the era that we happen to be in during that journey, that left a 100% Redress Party now. Nobody should underestimate the importance of the fact that we have got that over the line. And in parallel to that, we still have the Coleman legal case that, we just anxiously await to see what goes on there as well, because that's the other legal stance on this, to see where this all takes us. So I don't think it's a case of over and out by any matter or means. I think the battle goes on. It could have been an awful lot quicker through the likes of a Sinn Féin returned lead component of government, but the fight's not over, and it certainly isn't over whenever you've got somebody of Charles Ward's stature down there, personality, fire in his belly, can articulate himself well. Well, I think we watch this space.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but we all know how politics works, and let's just hypothesize that, say, Sinn Féin were the lead party, and let's just say that they were looking to go in. They were looking to go into coalition with Fianna Fáil. That would be the scenario to get it over the line. And let's say that one of Fianna Fáil's red lines was to maintain this current scheme. Do you think Sinn Féin would have walked away from the possibility of getting into government if if a defective concrete block scheme was Fianna Fáil's red line?
That was their undertaking given to us, and they would have found it very difficult to do a U-turn in that. because that's something that we would have turned on them as quick as they turned on the policy. That was the centrepiece of everything that was being pushed for Sinn Féin. Be under no illusion,
locally,
it wasn't a Sinn Féin government.
It wasn't mentioned once nationally, locally, but it wasn't mentioned once.
No, but
nationally.
I think yes, but nationally, we're dealing with the fact that we have a lot of people down the country believing the spin that the likes of Niall Blaney was putting out there and Charlie McConnell was putting out there. You know, you'll build a hell of a house for 500,000. There's people that's only getting 250,000 of a grant to still 50,000 short. They're getting nowhere near. You're aware of all that, Greg. You're aware of all of that. And that I think that was the difficulty. I think Sinn Féin had to get into government first of all before they could start to educate around why this scheme needs what they're going to give us, because it wasn't just us, it was all the defective apartments and everything else in Dublin. But they needed to get in to make that happen, and that unfortunately didn't
happen.
transpire.
No, that's the people had their say. Finally, what does this mean for you in terms of a vocal component of this campaign?
Well, I think I think we now have got a 100% redress party. I think we need to respect that, and I think we need to allow them to go develop whatever channels, pathways that they believe is appropriate. I think that's extremely important. I think myself, Paddy Diver, and others have really given everything we can on here. I don't think we'll be not answering the phone to anybody that asks and lifts the phone looking for advice or direction. But I think we need to respect the fact there's a 100% redress party out there now, and we wish them all the best.
Okay, people can read from that. It's pretty obvious, I think, what Michael was saying. All right, thanks for that. Back with more after these.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today. Are you ready to shop till you drop? Michael Hinney's annual Christmas shopping day is back and bigger than ever. Join us in store in Ballybuffet on Tuesday, 3rd of December from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. for festive fun, discounts, giveaways and much more. We can't wait to see you there. Put your money where your heart is this Christmas with a Strabane gift card. Purchasing a Strabane gift card is the perfect way to support local businesses and can be used in over 70 businesses, making it the perfect gift this Christmas. So, love local today. Buy the Strabane gift card at O'Neill Sportswear, the Alley Theatre or online at lovestrabane.com.
Looking for a present to help them ring in the new year? Give them the perfect gift this Christmas from An Post Mobile, with unlimited data for just €18 a month on pay-as-you-go. With a wide range of phones including Samsung and iPhone, and 99.9% 4G network coverage, it's great for friends, family, even for yourself. Visit your local post office or onpost.com/mobile Christmas. An Post, for your world. Terms and conditions apply.
There's bingo every Monday night at Halfway House Burnfoot. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30. €2,500 must go. The snowball is now €3,000 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. That's Halfway House Bingo tonight at 8:30.
It's Ireland's greatest live show. The Three Amigos, Jimmy Buckley, Robert Mizell and Patrick Feeney are back on tour. Get ready for a truly amazing experience full of laughter, music and song. See The Three Amigos live Tuesday, January 21st, Clonry Hotel, Letterkenny. Tickets priced $39.50, now available at hotel reception and ticketmaster.ie, where booking fees may apply.
Happy Christmas from the Three Amigos!
All right, good morning to you, Charlie. Sorry for holding you. What's your view?
Good morning, guys. How you doing, Greg? I'm one of these people that didn't vote.
Why?
And I'll be blunt honest with you, Greg. I will not be voting in this country until we have a referendum, first of all, and get out of the EU. That has to be done, because no matter who you vote for, they're just EU muppets. We're told what to do in this country. We're run by the EU. We're told how to farm, how to fish, how to everything, and it's so unfair. It's so unfair to our farmers. It's so unfair to our fishing men. It's so unfair to our county and to our country. And all I see is an EU dumping ground for refugees. We're not looking after the Irish people. We're not looking after our hospitals or looking after the things that we should be looking after. So the reason why I didn't vote was because I'm not funding people's holiday homes, and that's all you're doing by voting.
Yeah,
you're funding their holidays, you're funding their...
Yeah, but Charlie,
Greg,
in relation to all of that, though, Charlie, you know, you're saying just what lots of people said, versions of it within the county and across the country. And the people of Ireland spoke, and you're in, if you look at the figures, you're in a real minority of your view, Charlie. That is not how the majority of people in this county or country think. And we can gauge that through the council and the general elections. I mean, it's a very vocal sort of call, Charlie, and there are people that are very passionate about it, but you're few and far between in reality in terms of the electorate.
Well, Greg, I just think that's down to I don't know if it's a case of a lack of education, a lack of being in the real world and living in the real Ireland.
But people hear it. People live
here.
there.
It's one thing, Greg, but we're not acting on it. I'll give you an example of how we're not acting on it. We still, and there wasn't one mention of it on the radio over the whole scam of it. And until we have somebody in this country like a Donald Trump that wants to make Ireland great, that wants to make our country great. I don't want to make the EU great. I want to make my country, the country I was born in, great. Not any other thing. I don't care about anybody else. I don't care about any other country. I don't care about wars. I don't care. I want my country great. I want Ireland great.
And how
I'm not
does it
going to be
achieve that,
voting.
Charlie? I mean, we are a small, very small economy, right, with the size of a city right across the country. That's effectively what our population is. So we have to be a very open economy. We don't have the industry or we don't have the resources, we don't have the oil, we don't have the gas, we don't have the resources to build a wall around Ireland effectively and be that prosperous country that you talk of. 250,000 people here are employed through foreign direct investment. That's what's keeping the economy going. There's a lot of money in the country. You might not like how it's spent. Some people don't, some people do. But the bottom line is look what's happened to Britain. Britain, whatever about life here at the moment, in Britain, they're absolutely banjaxed. I know people over there, I talk to them. They left the EU and it's been an absolute unmitigated disaster. They thought they could leave the EU and control immigration, by the way. In the last 2 months, more people have come over the borders in small boats in Britain in the last few months than did in 8 months under the previous government. So leaving the EU doesn't mean that all of a sudden people can't arrive in your country, and also this notion that all of a sudden you can become really sort of authoritarian and militant and start throwing people back from where they came from. That's not how it works, Charlie. It's a fantasy, because we can see elsewhere. The people there's not all of a sudden people not coming up from Mexico into the United States because Donald Trump is in power. It's a fallacy.
No, Greg, listen. The policies that man's going to put into place the second he sits in that chair is the policies that I'm looking for our country and for our counties. And I'm talking across everything that he's hoping to do. For example, there's only going to be 2 genders in America when he sits down in that chair. And in that situation, we wouldn't have a teacher out of a job down the country in a Catholic school for not referring to a child as them. This country has went woke. This country, I think we've lost the plot in this country. I really do. And for people coming on there shouting about your woman shouting Chucky Arla and this nonsense through her campaign is diabolical in this day and age.
Are you not sure that you've been whipped up, Charlie, into this way of thinking, that you're on that whoever you follow whoever you follow on X, whoever you're in a Facebook groups where you're probably in a Telegram group. Are you sure you're on a small group of people that have whipped yourself up into this fear?
Greg.
Like when you woke up this morning, right? Did you think the first thing when you got out of bed in the morning? Did you think, okay, well, there's only 2 genders? Because that's not what the people of this country woke up. They woke up and thought about real stuff. How am I going to get the kids to school? How am I going to pay the mortgage? Is there ice out there? You know, a lot of people aren't constantly fixated on Enoch Burke and how many genders there are, because they're getting on with, and it seems to be reflected in the polls, they're getting on with their day-to-day life. People didn't
Greg,
vote in
that's
great
what-
numbers for people. Didn't vote in great numbers for people that are articulating what you're articulating. I'm just having a chat with you, by the way, Charlie. I'm not trying to shut you down. Come on.
No, Greg. No, I personally think you're shutting me down because the reason why I'm using it as an example of what Donald Trump is going to do to make his country great again. Now, all I was using that for was an example of the things that he's going to put into place to make America great. And people were on crying about them taking businesses from Ireland back to America. Well, 100%. He wants to make his country great. And I would, honest to God, I want somebody to come to my country. I want somebody to come into power in this country that wants to make Ireland great. Not to stand on a dial shouting over the cross at each other, and a couple of hours later they're sitting and having lunch and having a laugh about it because they know there's nothing going to be done about it. Nothing about the things the politicians they're shouting about.
If we left the EU, okay, and if our relationship broke down with the EU in terms of trade and all what have you, where would we generate the income from, Charlie? Just basically a basic question, right? I know I'm not an accountant or what have you, but where would we make it great? Where would we get the money from?
I think, Greg, we have a lot of things to offer now. For example, our tourism, which we don't do enough for.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't do enough for our tourism board in this country.
What else?
Well, you have a lot of whiskey stories across that are popping up here and there and everywhere.
But where would you
we
sell
have
that?
a lot of
Where
good
would you sell
stories
the whiskey?
across the world, the same as anything else, same as everybody else.
The whiskey industry are absolutely bricking it because Donald Trump's tariffs effectively are closing the Irish whiskey market into America. That is the concern. So Donald Trump's tariffs are having a potential, if they do come in, a devastating impact on our exports because America is one of our biggest trading partners. In fact, it's the biggest market. So that's whiskey. What else would we be doing to generate the income
Greg,
to make us great again?
I think farming. If our farming was done properly,
where would we sell the meat? Because the EU is
fishing as well.
Yeah, but where would we sell the fish? Where would we sell it to? The EU, the
So
EU
do
is
you think
but the EU's about right. Firstly, Britain Britain is saying the same thing, right? So they've got their own stuff; they're doing that internally. The EU is negotiating a deal with Brazil. The Polish are just ready and waiting to start pumping all of their beef and what have you into the EU. The price of for us to have markets, the price of the beef and the lamb and all of that stuff would be driven down so low because we've got nowhere to sell it to. There's trading agreements between the EU and New Zealand and Australia and the EU and China and what have you. I mean, we'd have some markets, but where would we sell our meat to? These are real questions that need to be answered if we're going to progress, Charlie, the type of Ireland that you want.
But Greg, look at what's been in government for as long as what's been in and what changes have we. We've still got. Do you know what's a sin? Go down to Killybegs and look what fishing trawlers is lying in a port because they're only allowed to fish 7% of it in their waters.
It's brutal.
So we need somebody to. If we're going to stay, right? Okay, right. We'll stay in the EU, but we need somebody to fight our corner. We need somebody to fight and say, no. This is Ireland. We need more. We need more of our fishing ground. We need more of our. So yeah, okay, yes, fair enough. You have an argument for the EU. But we need somebody to fight that. I'm not going to vote for somebody who's not fighting for our corner. They're not doing. Look how long we've been in politics, and nothing's been done for us. Nothing. Greg, the amount of Irish people that are leaving today, seeking better work and different countries and so on and so forth, is diabolical. And the thing as well, Greg, that really gets me is the housing situation. There's no houses being built. And then you have a situation then of rental properties. Nobody will accept government aid from anybody. They're all looking for £800 and £900 of or euros of people's money, and they'll not accept half or they'll not accept anything that's going. Every house that's been renovated or done up is all Airbnbs. This country, we need somebody to put things into place to help the people, the Irish people, the people of Ireland, and that's what I want. I want somebody to help our country and our people.
I get you, Charlie.
I don't see it within our government. The biggest mistake ever happened, as I can say, Greg. For me, I think the EU's done more damage than the English ever did in this country. We had a real system from the west coast of Donegal to Letterkenny whenever the English was in power in this country. And I don't care who hears me saying it, I don't think the EU's doing Ireland. I don't even think they even notice us. I don't think they're helping us at all. in anything.
All right, Charlie.
And that's the one thing,
that's
Greg,
your
I
view.
get what you're saying, and I appreciate your argument. Thank you very much.
No, and Eamon McGee was there for the Irish Freedom Party. They won out of Europe. I think Herman Kelly heads up that party. So there were options for you here, but that's your view. To not vote is a vote sometimes as well. Charlie, it's been great having a chat with you. Thanks for teasing it out, and thanks for
very much. I appreciate that.
Thanks for allowing us the back and forth to have a bit of a chat about it, because
thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care, Charlie. Bye-bye.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Buncrana Golf Club Charity Bingo will take place in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel, Buncrana, this Thursday, 5th of December, in association with Buncrana Children's Charity. €3,000 must go on the night, including €1,000 to be won on the last house. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30. That's Buncrana Golf Club Charity Bingo at the Inishowen Gateway on Thursday, 5th of December.
Make it a Christmas party to remember at Dunnes Stores, with 20% off a fantastic range of wine and champagne. And mix and match 3 for 2 on over 100 party food options. Whether you want crispy tempura prawns, elf bao buns, or a selection of indulgent cheeses, whatever you want from your Christmas shop, you'll find it in our aisles, fridges and freezers. Plus, you can save again at the till with a 10 off 50 grocery voucher. Make Christmas for everyone with Dunnes Stores. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used in the next grocery shop with €50 or more. Voucher excludes alcohol. Please drink sensibly.
What's going on over there?
Guards all over the place. Ambulance.
And he was just dead.
Yeah, lying there.
Ballyglasane, new drama series every Wednesday night at 8 on Highland Radio.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find the perfect present for everyone on your list this festive season. Discover the joy of gifting and make Christmas magical with McElhenney's Ballybuffet. Visit us in-store or online at mcelhenneys.com.
All right, let's have a look at the weather forecast then. And I can tell you that there's going to be plenty of dry weather today with long spells of sunshine and just some showers. Highest temperatures 5 to 7 degrees with light to moderate northwest winds becoming light westerly by the evening. Pat Carter, are you still there, Pat?
Yes, Greg.
Good stuff. Thanks.
Fine, I've got to hear from you.
Yeah, right, okay.
Okay. Did you get a brief what I'm about to say?
Go ahead, Pat.
I'm going to cause a tsunami in this country, in this county. I think Fine Gael should seriously swallow their pride, and I think they should seriously consider going approach Sinn Féin to form a government, possibly with support from the Labour Party. I feel it's no different from the current situation of the DUP and Sinn Féin in the Stormont executive, or when the Tory Party formed a coalition with the Liberal Democrats in Britain. I don't see what the problem is at all. I'm sure, Simon Harris, an intelligent man, and he's futuristic. He's always forward-looking, unlike the gentleman just speaking to. I'm sure already Sinn Féin and Labour Party have already swapped position papers. I'm sure this is on the room mill already. I'm sure somebody in Sinn Féin will say, why don't you get in touch with him?
Okay, we'll see. As unlikely as it might seem, you never know. Pat Carter, thank you very much indeed for that. Right, our second competition running today. Cadbury Secret Santa week-long promotion. It's year 7 of Cadbury Secret Santa, where you can send a Cadbury chocolate bar to someone in secret for free. Still yet to receive one. Secrecy is the key, as the Cadbury generosity comes from sending a gift without expecting thanks. There are QR codes on special posters around the country, and there are 22,000 bars to give away. How do you enter? Well, to celebrate the return of Secret Santa, we have 2 huge hampers of chocolate to give away, plus a €50 voucher every day to be won. So you could win a €50 voucher each day this week, or an end-of-week prize of one of these huge hampers. If they're anything like the ones from last year, they are unbelievable. All you need to do is tell us why you would want to surprise someone special with a Secret Santa bar this year. Why do they deserve it? And they may deserve much more than a chocolate bar. Do you get where I'm going with this? What good reason do you have to surprise someone with a Cadbury Secret Santa bar? Tell us about someone in your life who deserves your Secret Santa bar this year. And you could win €50 today and also go into a draw to win a Cadbury hamper for you and your Secret Santa. We have a hamper for you and a hamper for the person you are nominating. It's all thanks to Cadbury Secret Santa. And don't forget, if you want to send a bar to someone in secret, look out for the special posters all around the country. So effectively, what we're asking you to do is tell us about someone in your life, why they would deserve a special treat. Why would they deserve a special treat? So it's another opportunity to say something nice about someone and to appreciate them. If you're the daily winner, you'll win a €50 voucher. And if you're the weekly winner, both you and that special person will receive a beautiful big Cadbury hamper. Simple as that. 08660 25,000. That is the WhatsApp and text number. Right, okay. I would also vote to get out of Europe, says a listener. We're utterly under the control of other people like Germany and other EU countries. Britain was right to get out when they did. Not everyone with this opinion is on Facebook. Some people get their information purely from TV, newspapers and radio. They're not on social media at all. I believe in leaving the European Union and I don't even have a smartphone. Okay, that's interesting. And I don't say it as a criticism, but I don't say it as a criticism. I'm just trying to look at, I'm looking at people's opinions, how they're vocalised and how powerful they are, and then how they transfer into votes come election time. Hi, Greg. Ask Michael, why did Sinn Féin not endorse the People's Document when he's promoting Sinn Féin? Charlie McConalogue and his colleagues received a terrible bashing and backstabbing from the Micah group during this election campaign over the past 3 weeks. There was no call for all this. Thank God his seat was saved. And I think there is certainly a school of thought out there that that some of the personal nature of the criticisms of Charlie McConalogue perhaps in a way emboldened his support. I don't know the ins and outs of that. All right, that's the first hour of the 9 till noon show. Out of the way. Not out of the way, we enjoyed it. We'll be back with much more after we take a break for the news and obituary notices.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Donegal at night. It's vibrant, it's diverse, it's ours. Let's be safe and sound. Whether you're out for dinner, a show, a match, or just a stroll, we all play a part in creating a safe and enjoyable atmosphere. Let's look out for each other. Keep our streets clean. Have fun. Let's keep Donegal a place where everyone feels welcome and respected. Let's be safe and sound. This ad was brought to you by Donegal County Council and is an initiative of the Buncrannon Nighttime Economy.
Hello, Anne Gildee here. It's your final chance to see my hit show, How to Get the Menopause and Enjoy It, in Playhouse Derry, Friday the 13th of December, and on Green and Letterkenny, Saturday the 14th. The menopause is a very inclusive condition. You don't have to get it to suffer from it. Tickets at derryplayhouse.co.uk and on greenon.com.
With MasterCard Priceless Experiences, the possibilities are endless. You could be front row, screaming every lyric, or lost for words at the final act. Shh, sorry. Discovering new destinations, or a land of mouth-watering flavours. So if you're a MasterCard cardholder, register at priceless.com to unlock a world of priceless experiences, from exclusive dining events to historic tours. One place, endless possibilities. Priceless.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, I'm Michaela Clark with the news at 10 o'clock. As the dust settles on election 2024, new and returning TDs are preparing for the next Dáil term, while others are contemplating their futures. When the count concluded last night, the 5 TDs confirmed for the Donegal constituency were Pearse Doherty and Padraig McLaughlin of Sinn Féin, Pat the Cope Gallagher and Charlie McConalogue of Fianna Fáil, and Charles Ward of the 100% Redress Party. Speaking after his election, Charles Ward told Highland Radio News that while the defective bloc's crisis will be his top priority, he will not just be a single issue representative.
I will be a voice for the ordinary communities that have been disenfranchised by politics. The 100% Redress Party is fighting for defective homes, but the 100% Redress Party is made up of people who are nurses, doctors, healthcare workers, shop assistants, all sorts, and that's us. We're the ordinary working people.
Meanwhile, outgoing TD Thomas Pringle lost his seat, having first been elected to Donegal County Council in 1999 and to Dáil Éireann in 2011. He says he'll take stock before making any decisions about his future, but says politics is in his blood.
I have to take a bit of time for myself now and have to think about it and see what I'm going to do and that, and then see where we go after that. When I started off in politics in the first place, I never expected that I would still be here 25 years later, and when I got elected at all, I didn't expect I'd still be there 15 years later too as well. So that's a great privilege and an honour, and we'll have to see in the future what holds.
Well, a leading defective Bloc campaigner stands by his belief that a change in government was needed to deliver redress for affected homeowners. Michael Doherty, along with fellow campaigner Paddy Diver, pushed for the electorate to lend their support to Sinn Féin in the general election. That's despite the 100% Redress Party fielding Charles Ward, who now heads to the Dáil, having been elected. Mr Doherty has described the election result as momentous but bittersweet. He told the 9 till Noon show a short time ago that nothing will change under Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael-led government.
We've said all along for the last couple of years, from come June 22, when all our amendments were through to the one side by the current government, the amendments that would have addressed all of the issues that people are still wrestling with today. That opportunity that they had to do the right thing wasn't done. And I was on your show and I made it very clear at that time what we needed was a change of government. We tried to change the government in terms of their approach, but we never could do that. So it come down to simply this: if you can't change the government, you change the government. And that's what we were hell bent on doing.
The counting of votes finished in the Sligo, Leitrim and South Donegal constituency in the early hours of this morning, with 4 TDs elected. Outgoing Fine Gael deputy Frank Feehan topped the poll, followed by Sinn Féin's Martin Kenny and Fianna Fáil's Eamon Scanlon, who is returning to Dáil Éireann, having lost his seat in 2020. Independent Marion Harkin's vote fell, but transfers brought her over the line on the 13th count. She had been set in 7th place after the first count. Fianna Fáil's deputy leader says they will put the country first when it comes to talks on the formation of a government. Counting is resuming today in a number of constituencies to fill the remaining 12 seats in the 34th Dáil. As it stands, Fianna Fáil is on 43 seats and both Sinn Féin and Fine Gael are on 36. Attention is turning to the possible makeup of a government in the wake of the election. Finance Minister and Fianna Fáil's Director of Elections, Jack Chambers, says his party will discuss the next steps in the coming days.
I think the Irish people have spoken in terms of wanting political stability, wanting a strong and stable government, and we'll meet as a parliamentary party during the week about the next steps. And obviously from a Fianna Fáil perspective, we'll absolutely put the country first and engage constructively as part of the process now over the next number of days.
Gardaí have confirmed they responded to reports of a disturbance at a premises on Glenfin Street in Ballybofey on Friday night at approximately 9:45. A woman in her 40s was injured and received treatment in hospital. Gardaí say their investigations are ongoing. The teenager killed in a single vehicle road crash in Inishowen at the weekend has been named locally as 18-year-old Tiernan Doherty Kelly from Carndonagh. He died when the car in which he was travelling in was involved in a collision in Ballinlough between Buncrana and Carndonagh shortly after 5 a.m. yesterday. His death brings to 18 the number of people killed on Donegal roads this year. Last year, the total was 10. Weather now, plenty of dry weather today with long spells of sunshine and just some showers. Highest temperatures of 5 to 7 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with an update again at 11 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
The obituary notices for this Monday morning, the 2nd of December. The death has occurred of Paddy Logue, 38, Listymore Park, Castlederg, reposing at the family home this evening from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock and again tomorrow from 12 noon to 10 o'clock. Funeral from the family home on Wednesday afternoon at 12:30 for Requiem Mass at 1 o'clock in St Francis of Assisi Church, Drumna Bay. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The Mass can be viewed via the parish webcam. Family time, please, on the morning of the funeral. The death has taken place in London of Charlie Fox, formerly of Beechwood Road, Letterkenny. His remains will repose at Letterkenny Funeral Home, Port Road, tomorrow from 7 to 9. Requiem Mass on Wednesday morning in St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny at 11 o'clock, with burial afterwards in Conwall Cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Rose Gibbons, née McGuinness, 9 Heathfield, Coolmore Road, Derry. Her remains will repose at her home today from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 9:30 for 10 o'clock Requiem Mass in Our Lady of Lourdes Church, Steelstown. Interment afterwards in Star of the Sea Cemetery, Fawn Vale. Family flowers only, please. Donations if desired to Mary Curie, care of Mrs. Joan Doherty, 20 Dunhue Park, Victoria Road, Derry. The death has taken place of Seamus Devine, lad, 43 Ruski Road, Dunnamana. Remains reposing at his home. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 11:20 for Requiem Mass at 12 noon in St Patrick's Church, Kilena, Dunnamana. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The death has taken place of Gary McGrath, Anseo, Kill Dunfanaghy, formerly of Belfast. Gary's remains are reposing at his home from 1 o'clock until 8 o'clock this evening. Requiem Mass at Holy Cross Church, Dunfanaghy tomorrow at 12 noon, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed on mcn.live. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice or the Friends of St Luke's, care of Harkin Funeral Directors or any family member. The death has taken place of Kathleen Josephine Devine. Funeral from her home this morning at 10:15 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Ahabrack. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. Requiem Mass can be viewed on the parish YouTube channel. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to Chest, Heart and Stroke, Northern Ireland, care of McLaughlin Funeral Directors. The death has occurred of Rosie Duffy, Leanan, Uris, Clonmany. Funeral from her home this morning at 10:20 going to St Michael's Church, Uris for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to Carndonagh Community Hospital, care of any family member or McFeely Funeral Directors. Rosie's funeral mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Christina Carney, Carrick McQuigley, Redcastle, reposing at her son Fergal's home at Carrick McQuigley. Funeral from there this afternoon at 1:30 for funeral mass at 2 o'clock in St Columba's Church, Drung, followed by interment in Drung Graveyard. The funeral mass can be viewed live on stcolumbusdrung.net. Family time, please, from 10 p.m. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Oncology Haematology Unit, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin Funeral Director. The death has taken place of Mary Caulfield, née McKay, 22 Glen Road, Strabane, formerly of Ahiarn. Funeral from there this morning at 10:20 for Requiem Mass in Sacred Heart Church, Derry Road at 11 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to the Alzheimer's Society, care of Quigley Funeral Directors. Family time, please, from 10 p.m. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has occurred of Hughie Crawford, Coolatee, Smoky Lifford. Funeral from his late residence this afternoon at 12:30, going to St Patrick's Church, Murdoch for 1 o'clock Requiem Mass, with private cremation in Lakelands Crematorium, Cavan. Family time, please, before the funeral. The funeral mass can be viewed on clonleeparish.com. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of desire to the Alzheimer's Society, Donegal branch, care of any family member or Kelly Funeral Directors. The death has occurred of Charlie Logue, 9A Pullyteen Road, Ballymungan, Ahiarn. Funeral from there this morning at 10:20 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Ahiarn. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The Mass can be viewed via the parish webcam. The death has occurred of Jimmy Ruddy, J.R., Mitchelstown, Chure, Muff, reposing at Stephen and Magella McConlogue's residence at Mitchelstown. Removal from there this morning at 10:15 to Sacred Heart Church, Muff, for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in St Patrick's Graveyard, Ishkaheen. The Requiem Mass can be viewed on MCN Media. Family flowers only, please. The death has occurred of Joseph Shosi Carlin, Belalt, Castlefin. Funeral from his late residence this morning at 11:15 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon at 12 noon. Interment in the adjoining cemetery. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live on the parish YouTube channel. The death has taken place of Freddie Sweeney, 237 Lower Mount Marion, Milford. Funeral Mass this morning at 11 in St Peter's Church, Milford, with burial afterwards in Milford Cemetery. The Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Family flowers only. Donations, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
By now you should know, if you're not with UNO Energy, you're paying more than you need to for electricity. But did you know we now offer electricity and gas? So if you're not with us, you're paying more than you need to for dual fuel too. So why pay more? To get our new dual fuel deal and save up to €900, you know where to go. unoenergy.ie. With UNO Energy, you just know. UNO Energy discount fixed smart dual fuel rate EAB €2353. For T's and C's, rates and savings calculations, see unoenergy.ie. Suppliers pricing may change.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. We are into the second hour of R3. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for all the text, calls and comments. Really appreciate it. To some of those comments now, and it's an email entitled General Election Count Interview Censored. Let me see. On the 1st of December, Greg Hughes spoke to Nicky Bradley. In this interview, Nicky complained about a negative attitude among the constituency. Greg did a commendable job, in this interview, which falls into the public interest. The interview has since been scrubbed from your platform. Clips from your interview were starting to go viral. They've since also been removed from Twitter X. Although I cannot confirm the reasoning, I assume it's due to the copyright issues with your platform. The original viral tweets were tagged to Highland Radio, which would indicate prior knowledge. I hold Highland Radio's journalistic integrity to high regard. I urge you not to remove interviews in the public interest at any political actor's request. I sincerely hope this is not what has occurred. That comes in from Kevin. Kevin, no. Not at all. It's just not how I operate, and it's not how the station operates either, in fairness. We were just doing our election coverage. I'll give you just exactly the scenario as it outlines. We were doing our election coverage over the weekend, as many of you were listening to or watching. Nicky Bradley, who it was clear that she wasn't going to get elected and was leaving the count centre, sat down for an interview. It was just a regular interview. And then Nicky Bradley talked about the fact that we had to be positive, or we needed to be more positive. And in elements, I don't disagree, but anyway. But I just put across a few points, as I would to absolutely anyone. It's nothing to do with Nicky Bradley. I've nothing against Nicky at all. I just pointed out a few things that might make it hard for people to just wake up and be positive in the morning. Now, I was just doing my job, and the interview continued, and we backed and forth and had a conversation about it. It was somebody else, a third party. I don't know who it was. Someone took a clip of that interview. Because we were flat out down there. There's absolutely no way we had time for this, and I wouldn't have cut the interview the way it was cut either, to be honest with you, because it was a longer form and it gave Nicky an opportunity to reply a little bit better to what I was saying to her. Someone clipped it and posted it on X, and it went viral. And now I don't know who did that, but I suspect they didn't expect it to go quite as viral as it did, and it was they that took it down. I don't know why they took it down. I don't know the person. I know nothing about it. I was in the throes of the election. I was not able to track it. I don't know what the story is. It was taken down by the original poster. We don't really check the social medias, particularly when it's that busy. So I don't know. I didn't know we were at it in it, or I don't know. I've got thousands of interactions on X that I haven't even been able to look at yet. So we had nothing to do with putting it up, and we had nothing to do with taking it down. And I'll say something else a little bit. I'll say something else after in relation to that. Someone else then put it up, and it's been widely shared again and has gone viral again. So we didn't put it up, we didn't take it down. The full interview, Michaela was working flat out, cutting interviews and putting them on our website. The full interview's on our website because it's a news story. not framing it in relation to that, just generally, Nikki Bradley reacts to the election. What I will say is that whilst people might not agree with Nikki, I'm not a big fan, and the reason I wouldn't have posted it, I'm not a big fan of the pylon on Nikki. Now, Nikki Bradley had a point of view in relation to something. People may disagree or agree. I don't know if Nikki is happy with the way she articulated or not, right? But I really don't like people being targeted like Nikki's being targeted for her point of view. It's got very personal, and it's thrust the spotlight on her. Anyway, that's just me being completely honest with you. I would never have cut it like that and framed it like that. I simply wouldn't have. And I'm not criticizing those that did. It was an interview. People can interpret or do whatever they wish with it. But we weren't involved in putting it up in that context. That's the God's honest truth. And we certainly weren't involved in taking it down. It was the original poster that took it down. But also, there's quite a lot of me feels that, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, but that's the facts as they are. And as it relates to our comments or the context of that, people can make up their own minds. Michael Doherty, Charlie got his seat. No help from the abuse the Mica Group gave him. He's there now for 5 years, so you can eat humble pie. It's the Defective Concrete Group, but they're still called Mica Mag. Good morning, Greg. Just wanted to point out that you were very quick to dismiss Charlie McConalogue even before a vote was cast, calling the 5 seats. Highland did a very good job of covering the count. No, are you on about during the course of the coverage? I mean, it was made very clear that we were working on numbers. So we spoke to, and this is why it's selective hearing that people might have. Throughout the course yesterday, obviously we had a panel trying to figure out where votes were going to go, because that's all we've got. We can't sit there with our hands, we can't sit there with our arms folded waiting for an account. So you speculate. So we had Niall Blaney on, who's the Director of Elections for Charlie McConalogue. He was running through the figures. He said, and we kept referencing this, he was saying, the votes are there for Charlie McConalogue. Then we had the likes of John Campbell with the Pringle camp, and he was looking at the numbers, and he says, we see a pathway there. The die had already been cast. The public had already decided. The one thing we didn't know was how they had decided. And when you're doing 14 hours of election coverage, all you can do is speculate as the permutations and what might happen. So no one was writing anyone off. And again, I said it quite clearly on this show that it was my view that Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael would be returned into government, because a lot of people were texting presuming there'd be a change. Hi, Greg. Practically everything you've said to Charlie is a contradiction. Yeah, I was having a conversation with Charlie. Farmers and fishermen have suffered under the EU. Trump has announced no tariffs on Ireland. The UK is not in the EU, but is one of our best trading partners. And most products today in Ireland come from China. Okay, let me break this down for you. I was talking about us trading with the EU outside of the EU. Okay, we trade with the UK, of course, but also the UK produces its own produce as well, so we're competing with that. We have to export into a market that they're producing it locally. Okay, so that's an issue there. I never said, and then he says Trump hasn't announced tariffs on Ireland. Nobody's flagged them. He hasn't announced tariffs on anything because he's not in power, but he's suggested that he will. Most of our products in Ireland come from China. Left-wing politics has brainwashed this country to the extent that all mainstream parties preach it. Charlie, your caller was right. We needed Trump to put the Irish people first. And I was just asking, what does Irish first look like? That's all. It's called a conversation. We don't want to be tetchy. We're all having a point of view here. Right, on this week's show, we've got some lovely giveaways for you, and I'm going to give you a reminder of them because it's free for you to enter. All you have to do is send us a text or WhatsApp, and you could win one of these great prizes. This week's show, and with thanks to our friends at the Silver Tassie Hotel and Seascape Spa, we're giving you the chance to win their Pamper Me Please package. It's worth €130, and it includes a 2.5 spa package of an aromatic steam session and cocoon room, a stress-relieving back massage, a pressure-point foot massage, and other stuff as well. And to be in with a chance to win this prize, simply answer the following question, and the prize is given away on Friday. Which Christmas song mentions a one-horse open sleigh? Is it Jingle Bells or is it White Christmas? Text your answer, name and address to 08660 25000. And while you're at it, why not being with a chance of winning €50 today, or indeed a bumper hamper for you and someone special to you? It's thanks to our friends at Cadbury, and it's part of the return of Secret Santa. You'll see QR codes and special posters around the country. There are 22,000 bars to give away. What we're giving away, as I say, is a daily prize of €50 and also 2 bumper hampers at the end of the week. And we just want you to tell us why someone would deserve a free chocolate bar from you, or indeed the hamper itself. Have they done something nice for you? Are they a special person? You know, that kind of stuff. It's an opportunity to spread some love. So all you have to do is text or WhatsApp 086 60 25,000 with your nomination. And just to let you know, of course, that Cadbury Secret Santa is back. With Cadbury Secret Santa, you can send chocolate secretly to someone special for free.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday, the 2nd of December. You're playing on the green sheet for the daily prize of €1,000. The reference number is S1. It's game number 49. The numbers are 71, 46, 60, 66, 82, 33, 10, 7, 4, and finally 30. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Tinny's Toys, your local toy store. Christmas Club is now open. Everything for newborn right up to model collectors. Leck Road, Letterkenny. Or shop online at tinnystoys.com. Did you know that we even give 5% cash back on all purchases when you sign up to our loyalty program? Tinny's Toys, much more than just farm toys. Leck Road, Letterkenny. Or shop online at tinnystoys.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrating 50 years, McDade's Bathroom Plumbing Tiles in Buncrana continues to be Donegal's go-to destination for stunning bathroom makeovers. With a vast selection of premium tiles and bathroom products, our showroom is your ultimate one-stop shop for crafting the perfect space. We've earned our reputation through expert advice, unbeatable prices and a dedication to customer satisfaction. Visit our showroom in Cockhill and Buncrana and see why we've been Donegal's top choice for 50 years and counting. Call us at 07493 63050.
The 9 till Noon Show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Now, Gardaí are appealing for witnesses following a fatal road traffic collision near Buncrana yesterday morning, Sunday the 1st of December. The single vehicle collision involved a car. It occurred on the R244 Mountain Road at Ballinlough shortly after 5 a.m. The driver and sole occupant of the vehicle, an adult male in his teens, was fatally injured in the collision. The teenager killed in that single vehicle road collision in Buncrana has been named locally as 18-year-old Tiernan Doherty Kelly from Carndonagh. Councillor Albert Doherty is vice chairperson of the Carndonagh Football Soccer Club. And Albert, I wish I was speaking to you under any other circumstances than this today. It is just the saddest of news for young Tiernan, who had so much ahead of him, his family and friends, and the wider community. And I think anyone that heard this news, you can't help but be touched by it, Albert.
Yeah, similar to you. I wish there was another subject matter, but locally, our community has been devastated by the news we heard yesterday morning that we had lost a lovable, valuable young man who had so much to live for and who had given us so much contribution to sports and whatnot in our community. We're just distraught and devastated as that news filtered through yesterday morning.
Tell us a little bit about Tiernan. You knew him, Albert.
Well, personally, I first ran across Tiernan when he was a pupil at St Patrick's Boys, But like all boys, he was very, very active in our sports club in Carndonagh FC that I'm speaking for today. Also in Common Luke Class Gael, Carndonagh, where he would have been an excellent footballer, played a bit of hurling. So what coaches and others have said in relation to Tiernan was that he was a positive, humorous, an addition to anyone and everyone involved in sport here locally. He was a treasured member of our clubs, and our sympathies very much so are with Kevin and Louise, the extended Doherty and Kelly families. And yesterday our club invited all his friends and club friends to come, and that was later on repeated by the Gaelic club, just so that we could share a prayer, acknowledge and remember a great person who contributed so much to us in his short years.
It's just absolutely devastating for his family, and I mean, words. There's no words, but I just hope they know that we're all thinking on them and praying for them, and are behind them, because it's just unimaginable, and also thinking very much on his friends, his young, be his friends through sport or his other interests. They're young people too, and for many of them, this might be their first experience of loss and grief like this, and on such a scale. It's comforting that they're members of groups and clubs often, and they can come together and support each other and try, as difficult as it might be, to make some sense of this for themselves.
Yes, it's difficult to find consoling words in this circumstances, but yes, it was important that his young friends came together, treasured and remembered all their positive thoughts about young Tiernan, and that they have each other, and the clubs and our community will also ensure that we have them as well in our thoughts and prayers in the difficult days that we're going to face here in this community.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's more devastation on our roads. We've lost 4 people on our roads in just over a week, not attributing any responsibility or blame or anything like that there. And I don't want to be insensitive, but we just have to double down and redouble our efforts to sort of understand how deadly the roads can be, and do anything we can to avoid any further carnage, because we're a small enough county. How much more can we take?
Absolutely. Too much carnage on our roads, too costly and too sore, and too many families, and anything and everything that can be done, we need to explore and see that we're doing that in the future. Yeah, very much so.
All right, Albert, take care of yourself. Thanks very much indeed.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
Looking for the best rates on foreign currency? Visit Bureau Express on Lifford Road, Strabane. We offer special rates for commercial customers, competitive with banks on currencies like euro and sterling and dollars. With 60 currencies and free parking, we're your one-stop shop. Call 028 7188 2081. We're the last turn-off before the Asda roundabout. Bureau Express, Strabane.
You're forced to flee in the dead of night, running with your children, exhausted, hurt, terrified. This is the reality for millions of people fleeing conflict in Sudan, families who need your support this Christmas. Please visit concern.net now to provide vital support to families who have lost everything.
Hi, I'm at the Garda station, but it's nothing. I told this girl I was seeing for a while that I'd put shots of her up online. Shots she sent me, so they're mine really. I only said I'd do it, but the guards are saying that's a crime now. It's not my fault, Mum. I didn't do anything. I only said I would.
Threatening to share intimate images is a crime with serious consequences. Contact your local Garda station if you need to report it. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Discover the ultimate escape at the Spa at Orchids, the Holyrood Hotel, Bundoran, nominated for Spa Experience of the Year 2024 by the Irish Hotel Awards. Indulge in an oriental bamboo massage, reflexology, or choose from our signature therapies, skin glowing facials and invigorating body treatments. Couples can unwind together in twin treatment rooms or share a peaceful moment in the secret garden with outdoor hot tub. The Spa at Orchids, open daily. To buy a gift voucher or reserve your appointment, visit holyroodhotel.com.
Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure, your football store. Football boot sale now on. Save up to 40% off. Puma Future 7 boots only $49.99. Save €40. The ground is soft. Try a pair of soft ground football boots. Adidas F50 or Adidas Gloro SG with a fold-over tongue. Score a goal with our new range of football boots in-store and online. bmcsports.ie. Our Christmas club is now open.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme. We welcome onto the show now Fine Gael Senator Nikki Bradley. Nikki, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us today.
Morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm all right, Nikki. How are you? I suppose you went viral and then it was deleted and then you went viral again. I know you're acutely aware of social media and how it works and all that type of stuff. I suppose what's your comment or reaction, or I don't know, whatever you want to say, Nikki.
Yeah, so, well, first and foremost, I just want to apologise to the people of Donegal, because even though I know where my comments were coming from, and I'll explain them in a moment, I 100% can see how it looked, the way I spoke. I didn't articulate my message well enough. I should have gone into examples when I was talking about, negative attitudes and stuff like that. I was simply trying to just kind of put a positive spin, even on our own experience throughout the election, and remind people that we live in an incredible county, and that's genuinely where my intentions were. Anybody that knows me would know that I would absolutely never insult, certainly people that have taken time to vote for me. It's just not who I am. However, having watched the footage back, I can 100% see that that's exactly what it looked like. But just to say that, especially people in defective concrete block homes, referring to, some of the phrases that I used, moaning and groaning, etc., they absolutely were not directed at people that are literally having their lives fall down around them. I meant smaller issues, and as I said, I was more referring to us just kind of, trying to have a bit of a brighter attitude and being grateful for what we have here in the county. But having seen the way the weekend has gone, I just feel really disappointed in myself that that's the way I came across, because I've spent years, I set up my campaign 11 years ago, and I've spent all of that time trying to work with the people of Donegal and further afield to actually make the place better, make the world a better place. And my comments over the weekend, I feel I've undone a lot of the good work that I have done, and for that I can only apologise. And there's no excuse. I should have, as a speaker, I should have been able to articulate my messages better, and I didn't. And as I said, I have let myself and my team down there, and I completely will acknowledge that. But I just, if there is any possibility of forgiveness out there, I would just remind people to maybe take a look at the stuff that I have done over the years. I'm trying to do good here. The reason I went into politics was for the same reason. It was to continue to help people. And while I can't help everybody, and there is a process when you are, especially working on bigger issues, that it doesn't happen overnight. And I understand people get frustrated if maybe they don't hear back from me straight away or whatever. But I just want to kind of get the message out there that I am genuinely here for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. And although, the election didn't go our way, we still, we had a great number of votes for my first time run. We did have a huge amount of support, and, it would be a real shame now if that support went away just over, those comments that, as I said, were genuinely not meant in the way that they came across.
No, and I get that. And there's two things, the way I would look at it. And I mean, personally for me, obviously, I do this show every morning. If I thought about it all of the time and then went home and watched news and then went on social media platforms and read all that kind of stuff, it would become overbearing, right? You know what I mean? It would feel like there is no light, there'd be all darkness. So I do understand exactly where you're coming from. I believe I understand where you were coming from, that whilst we have to champion and highlight what might be negative in the world, even if it's just a walk on a beach or whatever it might be, that break, that positivity, or trying to give ourselves a respite. You get that?
Exactly.
I think. So I think I read that right, and I did reference that, Nikki, during the course of the interview, or certainly immediately afterwards. That being said, is that I think, given the fact that one of the big issues was the issues that you referenced and all that kind of stuff, I think some people feel so under the rock and of difficulties in life, and sadly we've lost people by suicide, and marriages have broken up, and you know there are kids that are going through the likes of the defective concrete and what have you, and as a reference to they can't get the help they need to try and see the light.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the comments weren't nuanced enough just to pick that up. I'm not preaching to you, Nikki. That's not. I'm not interested in beating you up or whatever. That's not.
Yeah, no,
my
I do.
style.
I completely
But I think
agree.
I think that's what really. And then obviously there are people that want to have a go at Fine Gael and they can latch onto that. There's lots of different people reacting in different ways to it. But I think there was which you've acknowledged. I think there was a genuine sense that people go. With all of your trials and tribulations, and they are many, and that some that you endure, right? But I think for some it just didn't capture the sense of desperation that they are feeling, or the sense of loss they have, as I tried to articulate to you during the course. I'm not preaching to you, Nikki, by the way. You know that.
No,
don't you?
I know.
I'm just sort of teasing
I
through
do
the where some might have gone, right, I get her, and some might have gone, she don't get us.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, like I'm not making excuses. I just wanted to kind of explain the greater context, but I 100% can see that that's exactly how it looked. And I'm not going to kind of stand here this morning and try and make excuses. I was wrong, and I think it's you have to acknowledge that. And had I been able to do a do-over, I certainly would have selected my words very differently, because and a lot of people said that I didn't have any empathy, and that just simply couldn't be further from the truth. The empathy that I feel for these families, some of these families are my own friends' families, and I know even they have been hurt by my comments, and this will stay with me for a long time, because I am a good person, and I will continue to think about this, and I will use this as a way of improving as I move forward. And I certainly hope to never find myself in this situation again, where my words can have such a hurtful effect on others.
But Nikki, also too, the people that may have been hurt by that are also good people, and they'll hear you today, and will reflect on that, because not everyone would react to you are too. So you know what I mean. As I say, the people you talk of are your friends, family, neighbours, not literally, but you know what I mean, of the community, and they'll reflect on your views today, I'm sure. And as I say, they are good people and understanding as well. Anything else you want to add, Nikki? No.
Just to say how you're still standing after the weekend, fair play to you. I can only imagine how tired the whole team is. The coverage was absolutely excellent. I think everybody tuned in. How you kept the conversation going for so long over the weekend was just an absolute testament to you and how good you are at your job. But other than that, just congratulations on the coverage.
How we kept it going was perhaps maybe just not talking about much. But anyway, all right, Senator Nikki Bradley, thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your time, as I say. Just wanted the Senator contacted us looking to clarify the comments there and have a word with you guys. And each and every one of you are it's up to you how you interpret that. That's the way it all works, isn't it? Right. Let me just mention something, because it's the car. This day in a week. In a week, we're going to give you €1,000, and then on Tuesday €1,000, and then on Monday €1,000, and then for 10 consecutive days €1,000. Because last week, it may have got lost and all, last week we upgraded, you could say, our super Christmas car giveaway here at Highland Ready. We've got a car worth over 30 grand. And it's going to be given away on the 23rd of December to one of our lucky listeners, or those participating in the competition. And we've also added in 10 chances to win €1,000. And it starts next Monday. Every day €1,000 will be given away. If you bought your ticket prior to this announcement, you're in all 11 draws. Don't worry about that. You can sit back, relax, and see if you're going to be one of our lucky 11 winners. But if you do want to be in that competition, and you, of course, can afford it and have a bit of crack with it, right? You can buy a ticket for €15, or you can get 5 for 50, and you can individually name those tickets if you wish. How do you get your tickets? Well, you go onto our website, highlandradio.com. You click on Win a Car. And as I say, you can buy 1 or 5 tickets, and you will be in all 11 draws. So if you get your ticket before Monday, right, you don't miss anything. So you're in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on and so forth. But if you already bought your ticket, you're in. You don't have to answer your call to win, by the way. Your number's drawn out, and that prize is attributed to your number straight away. So that's that. So get your tickets now, and you're in all 11 draws. Now, you can go online, highlandradio.com, perfectly safe and secure. If you prefer and you only use cash, as an example, you can call into us here at the Mountaintop in Letterkenny and buy your ticket that way. We'll sort that out for you during office hours. Or if you want to give us a call on 07491 25,000, we can process that for you as well, send you out the email and so on and so forth. So that's all really exciting. So every day we're going to make someone £1,000 next week. And then on the 23rd, we're going to give away a beautiful car. Fred Gillen is with me now. Fred, how are you getting on?
Very good, Greg. Indeed. Thank you very much for getting back to me.
No, it's important. That's what we're here for. This is the bread and butter. The elections and everything else is great, Fred, but this is about also what we can do to sort of progress people's lives. 2.5 years ago, you applied for a grant for a bathroom to make it more accessible for your needs, Fred. Tell us about that.
Well, basically, I had gone on to Donegal County Council, who were very helpful, and they informed me that basically the bathroom would have nothing to do with them, and to get in contact with the health board. Now, I was diagnosed with something that basically I like my bath, let's put it this way, rather than a shower. But I was informed that I would no longer be able to use the bath.
Yeah.
And that it would have to be a shower, but the shower would have to be adapted.
Okay.
So, right, the next thing was, okay, I thought, well, fine. Phoned Letterkenny. They informed me, yes, they'll send me out the form, but now fairly rudely, I will say, I was very disappointed in the way I was treated. They said, yes, but it could take maybe 12 months before I could come out to see you.
Mm.
And I said, well, so they have to be dead before you come to see me. Now, I already joking about it.
I know. Yeah.
But that was 2.5 to 3 years ago. Now, I could have been dead. I'm not no teenager anymore. And the point I'm trying to make, I basically wouldn't have been able to get up the stairs, so the bathroom would have had to come downstairs.
So when you applied for the grant, Fred, you were told it would be 12 months before someone could even come out and assess the property.
Yeah.
And did they come out?
No.
Okay.
I'll be quite honest with you. I phoned twice, and I'd laughable because I actually did it myself at the finish up at a fairly highly cost.
Okay.
And I said to my wife, I said, look at mark this down in the calendar, because eventually they might get back to me. And I phoned, like I say, twice, and after the second time I said, well, let's just see from here on. And believe it or believe it not, last Wednesday, I think it was, somebody from the health board actually got back to me, asking me, did I get the bathroom sorted yet? But I says, I did it my own bath, but says I couldn't have done it anyway without somebody coming out to assess it.
Yeah.
So says from that point, I would have had to wait maybe another 6 months before I would have been told yes or no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay.
Now, I'm in my 70s, so I'll give you an idea. Very disappointed. Now, the second person who did get back to me were very polite. And Donegal County Council was very helpful, but they could do nothing about the situation. Now, I was told by my doctor that at the time, now thanks be to God, everything has improved since, at the time I could no longer use the bath because it was I could drown, basically, as simple as that.
Yeah.
But I never stopped using the bath. I'd rather stop using the bath or not wash for 2.5 years.
Well, you know yourself. I mean, obviously the doctors give advice, but we know ourselves, Fred. So you did get the bathroom adapted yourself at your own cost. And then 2.5 years later, you got a phone call and they said, by the way, what's the story with the bathroom? And the question is really, is there actually a grant available? I mean, if you have to wait for 2.5 years for a call back, whilst they might say there is a grant, your feeling is well, actually, is there a grant? Because I've spent the money now and there is no grant for me.
That's exactly what it says. And I would like to know how many other people in the same situation who hasn't got the money or hadn't got the money to actually redo the bathroom themselves.
Yes.
And basically how they're managing.
And Fred,
and
let me ask you,
anybody getting back.
Why would you qualify for? Is that yours? Are you in social housing, or is this just the type of stuff the HSD do to assist people to live in their own homes, or what was the grant that you applied for?
It was the glass, my own house.
Okay.
No, it's not in social housing, nothing like that. It's my own property.
Okay.
But like I say, they were advertising these grants for this and that and the other. But whenever I was informed that I had an illness that I couldn't, let's put it, I was taken off the road. That's how serious it was.
Understood. Yeah, it made a big difference to your life. Yeah.
Oh, the whole thing, yeah. But like I say, everything has improved since. I got my license, everything back.
Oh, did you?
But
Good
only
stuff.
for that. I actually did the bathroom up myself at my own expense. It's quite a large expense into the bargain.
No, it's not.
But for the health board not to get back to me, I thought, I actually did end up laughing. And I even said to the lady, last Wednesday, I said, really, is this April Fool's Day?
Okay,
And
so
she
the
said,
question
"Pardon?"
is,
the usual.
the question is in terms of sort of housing adaptation grants, which I presume this is what it falls under. Are people waiting 2.5 years? What's the longest wait, and what have you? As you say, Fred, thankfully your health has greatly improved. There are others who wouldn't get that call back because they could have passed away or something, or had to move out of their house. Listen, Fred, thanks for keep listening. We'll let you know if anyone calls in on that issue, shared experiences and all that.
Well, I appreciate you getting back to me, Greg. And yes, I would just like to know how many people are out there waiting.
Okay. Right, Fred,
Thank you very much.
You're not in the bath now, are you?
I can take it from you. I had one last night and I enjoyed it.
How long did you soak for?
Sorry?
How long did you soak for?
Good 45 minutes.
And does herself
If
bring
you're
any?
gonna-
Does herself bring any treats or anything in?
Does she heck? I'm not like that advertisement where they're talking about insurance before you die.
Oh no! Geez. Oh, that advert. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a lovely. Oh, God, that advert's a funny one, isn't it? Is that you in the bath? Is that you in the bath with the big smile on your face, planning your cremation, Fred?
Would you believe me? Believe it or believe it not, I thought about that the first time I seen it.
Yeah, and her chatting through the crack in the door, just handing you in the tea, Fred, around the corner.
Yeah, that was insurance.
Listen.
Oh yes, darling, we're getting insurance.
Oh, that's lovely. Hey, come here, Fred. Best wishes to you. Great to hear, actually, as part of that story, that you're back on the road and your health is improved, which is great. So best wishes to you, Fred, and your significant other, your better half. Send a love to her as well, will you?
Yeah, great, Greg, and thanks very much for getting back to me again.
And on the serious element of that, we'll, of course, we'll invite our listeners to see if they've got shared experiences. Thanks, Fred. God bless you.
Thank
Take
you.
care. All right, bye-bye.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Some years ago, I was the victim of a serious crime. The person serving a life sentence for that crime now has an opportunity to apply for parole. But I also have an opportunity to have my voice heard by the parole board.
Victims of a serious crime. Your voice counts in the parole process. Find out more and register at gov.ie/parole board or call 01 474 8770.
At Hidden Hearing right now, get up to €2,000 off state-of-the-art hearing aids, even if you don't qualify for PRSI. Visit hiddenhearing.ie today. T's and C's apply.
At A Motors, we offer a wide selection of 2024 X-Management and fleet vehicles, just a few months old. Our nearly new range includes petrol, diesel, self-charging hybrids and plug-in hybrids. Enjoy savings of up to €10,000 off the new price, with remaining manufacturer warranties included. Visit A Motors in Letterkenny or Malin to explore our impressive Kia and Nissan collections, and take advantage of these fantastic deals.
Celebrate the season at Evolve Clothing Letterkenny Retail Park. Brands like Ralph Lauren, Fred Perry, Calvin Klein, Barbour and Gant. Open 7 days a week until 8 p.m. Thursday and Friday. Shop in store or online.
Introducing Flow for Men, my new fragrance collection of products created to keep you feeling fresh and looking sharp. The ideal gift for the man in your life. Find Flow in pharmacies nationwide or online at flowbybogue.com. Start every day with confidence.
Century Complex gift cards are the perfect gift this Christmas. Our gift cards can be used throughout the complex in Backstage Bar and Grill, Century Cinemas and Century Play. Available in store or online at Century Complex. Call us on 07491 21976 or check out our website centurycinemas.ie for more information.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find the perfect present for everyone on your list this festive season. Discover the joy of gifting and make Christmas magical with McElhenney's Ballybuffet. Visit us in store or online at mcelhenneys.com.
So, plenty of dry weather today with long spells of sunshine and just some showers. Temperatures 5 to 7 degrees with light to moderate northwest winds becoming light westerly by this evening. Right, Louise is with me now. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Greg. How are you doing? Good morning.
It is a good morning unless you're waiting on your wages. What's the story, Louise?
I didn't get too much spending done now over the shopping weekend.
Right.
So essentially what happened was Friday morning the wages were due in, along with all the direct debits and everything else that comes out. And just happened to have a wee look on my online banking and noticed there was no wages in, and the direct debits didn't come out.
But they tried to get them out. Or did they?
They did try. They would have tried, yeah.
Before, yeah. I did the same. I've got my direct debits coming out when my wages go in because you presume they will. Yeah. Okay. All right, Louise, you're in the same boat.
And it normally happens pretty, it's normally pretty, it's fine. It comes out no problems, no issues. But just on the Friday, I was gearing myself up to do a bit of Black Friday shopping and no, there was nothing in. So, and also the app that I use on the phone as well to look at permanent TSB, it was glitching.
Right.
So I went then into the laptop and had a look on, and now that wasn't glitching, but they had a sort of a flash message up that there was a technical issue, and that basically they were working on it, and that there was an issue with transfers. Apparently, it was related to a third-party European processor, I guess, someone that works with them for transferring things. I don't know, but they were trying to work on it. So I just kept checking in on it all weekend, and even this morning now there's still no wages in.
Oh my word! Because they said it was resolved on Friday, if I remember.
Yeah.
So did they attempt to take did anything process it? In other words, did they try and take out direct debits?
Well, a few direct debits did come out because there was a bit of money in, but there has been a few that failed as well.
Yeah, but my point is, Louise, isn't it always like that? It's broken. There's an IT problem, but they can pull stuff out of it, but they can't pull stuff in. Because I've been in this boat with you before as well. Because with direct debit accounts, I'd move money around or what have you, and just have enough to cover direct debits, and you're probably in the same boat. But then I start when it happened to me before. Next thing you get a $12.50 for return payment. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to make sure that you're not out of pocket over the back of this, Louise. I hope.
Well, I did ring them this morning, because I rang them because customer service wasn't available all weekend, which was very frustrating.
Crazy.
I couldn't speak to anyone. It was saying the issue was resolved. It obviously wasn't resolved. I asked a few other friends who are with permanent TSB. They said they didn't get their wages either, and so we were just waiting in limbo.
Yeah.
So I did ring them this morning and I asked them about it, and they said that they have the issue fixed, but now it's just a waiting game to get all the transfers across.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure probably a lot of people are in the same boat as me today. I did ask them about, I says, any charges from the direct debits that were returned, what's the story with them? And they said I have to open a complaints case. And I said to them, that means I have to do the work. I have to put in work to fix financially the issue that you caused, So
right.
I opened the case, but someone's going to contact me. But essentially, it's going to take a lot to get.
But this is now we're talking about a value on your time. This is stuff that this is nothing to do with you. It's their glitch.
No.
They should have some sort of a system that resolves this rather than you having to open a complaint. Because now what happens is do they go back in for payments? And I'm speaking from experience here, Louise. Do they go back in on Tuesday or Wednesday or Friday or Monday? So even for the next while until all those payments are cleared, you're going to have to watch the bank account all the time. It's like it's a huge inconvenience. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see what other people's experiences is Louise, and I don't know, it's nothing we can do about you missing the Black Friday deals and your weekend of shopping.
It might be for the best, Greg, but no, I just wanted to raise awareness because, they're saying the issue solved, but it may be solved, but there's still people that haven't got wages, and I think it's just covering over a problem with a bit of gloss. It's they haven't identified that people are still not paid today.
Yeah, I hear you, Louise. All right, listen, thanks for that. I do appreciate it. It's an experience I've had myself. I know exactly where she's coming from. Some comments here. Nikki Bradley's interview following such disappointment and when undoubtedly so emotional is a lesson in not giving any interview in such circumstances. Camilla Harris and Hillary Clinton are good examples of staying away from any microphone until the hurt and disappointment has sunk in. Well, I don't agree with that either, and I can't speak on behalf of Nikki. I don't know Nikki other than the occasional interview in here. I do get the impression, because I think she said comments similar to other media outlets, that this was something she was trying to articulate in the last throes of her campaign. So I don't believe it was, and I could be wrong, I'm open to correction, but I believe there was a similar sort of an angle or approach with other media outlets as well. So it's obviously a point that she wanted to get across, but she said herself she didn't articulate it correctly. As someone that spent all weekend at the Kant Centre, emotions can be elevated for everyone. What Nikki said was not good, but the fact that she was reflecting, or has reflected over the weekend, and has come on and held her hands up and apologised, the count is over. We need to just get back to being nice to each other again. Nikki, I didn't appreciate your comments, but commend you on your apology. Thank you. Greg, if you could ask Charlie McConnell to come on and apologise also. As you said, many suicides and marriage breakups and many other dreadful things in his government have happened, and he's, well, we're not getting into that. The dust is settled and the people have spoken, and I respect your point of view. People need to remind themselves why we call and consider ourselves the forgotten county. Nikki's actually right. There's no point us all moaning and groaning. It's right if we re-elect the same TD who did nothing for DCB until voluntary campaigners tackled it. Okay, and that's just the various views we're getting in so far this morning.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Throbbing headache, toothache, backache, period pain. No one pain is the same. But for all those everyday pains, there's a moment when you start to feel release. That moment when you start to get back to being you. And you feels amazing. Panadol Extra film-coated tablets. Powerful pain relief. Release starts here. Contains paracetamol. Always read the label, leaflet.
OMG, girl, you look unreal. Where's your dress from?
Oh, thank you. I actually borrowed it from my friends.
Stop. I love sharing clothes.
We swap all the time. No need to buy new.
Exactly. You look amazing.
Oh, thanks a mil. Enjoy your night.
You too.
Buy less, rewear, share, because that's what's trending right now. Find out more about circular fashion at reversethetrend.ie. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
At Londis, we wish our customers in Donegal a very happy Christmas. We know what locals want because we are local like you, even as local as Lough Swilly on a beautiful crisp winter's day. Happy Christmas from Londis.
Is féidir le drogaí áine sa dul a bhaid mar tar bheala éagsúla, ach cuireann siad ar fada steachart agus tú ag tomaint. Is féidir le roinnt drogaí tú bhfuilliú, rud a ágan bhfuil buíoláin go nionad tú botún.
Cuireann drogaí eile farragat tí bhír den ruistíortha. Bhín tú ag tomaint ruisciúpaí.
Má bhín tú ag tomaint faoi cheannach ar drogaí is féidir leis tusa do chuid páisinéirí agus daoine eile ar a móthar a chur a míl. Ná tomaint faoi cheannach ar drogaí go brach, ónúdar as umhaváilteocht ar bmhóire. Tuair cuairt ar rsa.ie.
Get ready for a night of great music at the Highland Radio Christmas Concert on Monday the 9th of December at the Mount Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny. Join us with an incredible lineup of Mike Denver and his band, John McNichol, Jim Devine, Donna Taggart, Owen Mack and myself, David James. Get your tickets now at the outlet on highlandradio.com or call 074 91 25000.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Okay, we're heading into the last hour of this Monday show. And with the news at 11 o'clock, it's over to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. Counting has resumed in a number of constituencies this morning in a bid to fill the remaining 12 seats in the next Dáil. 161 TDs have been elected so far. Fianna Fáil are on 43 seats. Sinn Féin and Fine Gael both on 36. Counting resumes in Cavan Monaghan, Louth, Tipperary North and Kildare North. A recount's been requested meanwhile in Cork North Central. Well, locally, when the count concluded last night, the 5 TDs confirmed for the Donegal constituency were Pierce Doherty and Patrick McLaughlin of Sinn Féin, Patrick Gallagher and Charlie McConalogue of Fianna Fáil, and Charles Ward of the 100% Redress Party. Outgoing TD Thomas Pringle lost his seat, having first been elected to Donegal County Council in 1999 and to Dáil Éireann in 2011. Donegal Senator Nicky Bradley has apologised for any hurt she caused in comments she made in a post-election defeat interview with Highland Radio at the weekend. A clip of the interview went viral in which she says attitudes in Donegal need to change and she believes there is a very negative attitude in the county. A child has died following an assault at a house in Wexford. 2 others are being treated in hospital following the incident which happened last night in New Ross. A woman's been hospitalised meanwhile following a disturbance in Ballybofey over the weekend. Gardaí have confirmed they responded to the incident at a premises on Glenfin Street on Friday night at around 9:45. The woman in her 40s was injured and received treatment in hospital. Gardaí say their investigations are ongoing. And people are being advised to be cautious when online shopping during Cyber Monday today. Research from FraudSmart has found 1 in 5 online shoppers have lost money through scams in the past year. 1 in 10 of those reported losing as much as €500. A new scam checker app has been launched. More details on that and a link to it on our website, highlandradio.com. We're back with news headlines again at 12 noon.
Okay, thanks very much indeed, Donald.
Flowgas do electricity too. And you can get a 24% discount and €300 welcome bonus when you switch your gas and electricity to Flowgas. That's the gas part. And the electricity part. Get our best value dual fuel bundle at flowgas.ie. Flowgas, energy for everyone. T's and C's apply. New customers only. First year cost based on an EAB of €2,694.39. For information on charges, unit rate, standing charge, PSO and carbon tax, see flowgas.ie.
Okay, so we were talking there before 11 just about technical issues with permanent TSB. They said 3 days ago, which will be on Friday, that issues with payments for customers were now resolved. There was still some issue with the app, but apparently resolved, according to the Irish Independent and News Talk and Dublin Live in the Journal. Let's see what Daniel thinks, because he's also in the same boat, I think. Hi, Daniel.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks for your email, buddy. So, what was your experience with permanent TSB?
So I was waiting for my wages to be paid in on Friday. Nothing came in. No word from the bank. Assumed it was just a technical issue. Wait till later in the morning. Still nothing. And then eventually by lunchtime they put a notice up on their site saying, a minority of customers have been affected. We're working to resolve it, and it'll be resolved by mid-morning. And then nothing, and then they're posting on their Facebook page that it's all been resolved and that now there's problems with our app and all of that kind of stuff, and still no wages. And then they're blaming a third party, SEPA payments, which is I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's sort of European money transfers, and they're not the only bank affected. And then this went on over the weekend. I went into the branch to get some money out, to pay some bills. And they said that I said that I'm very frustrated by this, and I know it's not their fault. And they said that they were frustrated as well, and that they weren't getting any updates from head office, what was being posted on social media. They were getting 10, 20 minutes later. Ended up speaking to somebody in customer service over the weekend, and they assured me that it would be fixed by Monday, but still nothing. It's just this constant gaslighting that it had all been resolved, and it's only a minority of people affected. But there seems to be an awful lot of people affected if you go on their social media.
Well, that's it, you see. We have two things going on here. We have the narrative from permanent TSB, but the way things are nowadays, we have the reality, right? So you know your experience. That from social media and what have you, no other banks are suffering this issue with SEPA, and also the fact that it's not isolated, that lots and lots and lots of people still 3 days on from when they said it was fixed have yet to get their money, and the great inconvenience for many that causes.
Yeah, no, I think they kind of chose the wrong person to kind of gaslight. Because I used to work in social media for a large insurance company when I lived in the UK, and you can't be going to people that there is no issue when there clearly is one. They'd been better to hold their hands up and go, look, something's gone wrong. It's complicated. It's going to take a while to fix. In the meantime, we'll do our best to resolve it. We'll make sure nobody's out of pocket. And I'm getting messages from my colleagues at the company that I work for, who've got direct debits bouncing, and they're getting charged by permanent TSB for not having enough money in their accounts.
Yeah, and that's it. And we spoke to the other caller. Rather than them implementing a system that takes account of that, they're asking people to give up more of their time by opening some sort of a complaints process.
Yeah, and when I spoke to the customer service representative the weekend, they were very dismissive. I'm like, okay, so we'll just mark your complaint as resolved then. It's like, no, I want to open a grievance kind of on this, and I want someone from the bank to come back to me and tell me, what is wrong. I've emailed the Irish Independent this morning, and their journalist got back to me, and he's going back to permanent TSB to find out actually how many customers are really affected.
Yeah, which would be the right thing to do once you've just received that email from the press release from the PTS Bank saying that everything's all right. I don't think we should take everything we're given as granted. I'd like to have gone back to them and says, all right, okay, but how many's affected? How many are still affected? There's lots of questions. That's journalism, isn't it? Keep us updated with how that comes for you. I appreciate your time, Daniel. I think they took on the wrong fella, given your background in your previous company. They may live to regret that. But anyway, appreciate it, Daniel. And of course, in what you're doing, you're advocating for others who don't necessarily start engaging. So that's good work you're doing there. That's Daniel Lane there. Brendan Devaney is going to be joining us shortly. We're going to be talking all things GAA, and still talking about some big games and big results and big achievements, and us well into December now. Well, not well in, but into December. I had the same issue with PTSB app on Friday. My wages go in on a Thursday, and on Saturday morning I noticed that they'd paid my wages in again, but by Saturday evening they took that payment back out again. Sometimes you get ghost payments, and that can work to our advantage because you can return a payment before it actually is processed. So I'm not sure maybe your wages ever went in twice. Greg, where can I watch Pat the Cope being elected on your live video and being hoisted? I can't find it on your videos. Thanks. I wasn't privy to what was being filmed. I think it was being filmed. It's possible maybe there was a dropout or something. Find out what... I don't know how to do that. We started broadcasting at 9:15 yesterday. So you'd have to fast forward on the YouTube channel to get to that point, which I wouldn't fancy doing. Not at this stage, because I probably have a little bit of too much election stuff. Hi, Greg. Just to let you know, I found a purse outside Lidl in Buncrana. I handed it into Lidl at the time. It's in there. Hopefully the person got it. Thanks. You may have made someone's day today, because I I've in the past lost something and I don't know where I've lost it, and you trace your steps and you've been in 5 or 6 different places. If you were in Lidl and you lost your purse, it's in Lidl in Buncrana, by the way. A good citizen picked it up and handed it in. So if that's you, you'll know who you are. A very human thing to do, put your hand up and say that you were wrong. Well done, Nicky Bradley. A true measure of a good person. Well done, Nicky Bradley. Well done, Nicky Bradley. It takes a strong person to admit their mistake. Those are a series of messages that came in there. As it relates to our friend who applied for a grant 2.5 years ago and it wasn't forthcoming, he went ahead and adapted the house, but then got a call last week to say, how's this? Are you sorted now? And he was just highlighting that there's no real grant there at all for him because he couldn't have waited. A caller says, sounds like that man may be entitled to grant aid under housing adaptation grant administered by local authority. If you have €200 to employ a private occupational therapist to do a report, it would speed up the application immensely. Thanks so much for that feedback. He mentioned during the call that in the interim he had to adapt the bath or adapt the bathroom, and he did. Hi, Greg. Thanks for the coverage yesterday. Looking at the results of the election, the Redress Party have put in Charles Ward with the greatest respect, no experience, and they put Thomas Pringle out, a TD with great experience. One of the TDs that was fighting our corner. I don't think we're any better off regards. That's up from Jerry, and that's how you feel, Jerry. But I mean, all that being said, you sit back and don't do anything, right? And then Thomas Pringle could have lost out to Noel Jordan, or although Noel Jordan would argue he's part of a party that is that's pro 100 redress. But I mean, it's what ifs. It's what ifs. What are the ramifications? What are the ramifications if you didn't do it? It would be the status quo, effectively. 2 government parties, 2 Sinn Féin and Thomas Pringle. So that would be exactly as you were. At least now they might argue that they have someone, although Thomas Pringle endorsed the People's Document, you do have someone now who is directly affected by it, running for a party that was named because of the crisis. Is it as you were? I don't know. It's up to people to decide. We're both in our 70s and applied for new windows and doors. We paid for insulation ourselves, but were told that new windows might help. After a long time, an engineer came out and said that our windows were too good to replace. The windows were 38 years old. We appealed it, and another engineer came out. We are in our 50-year-old house. We tried to get a grant, and we were turned down because of this. I've not voted in the election for the first time in my life. We will never know why this wasn't granted. I'm so angry and frustrated. A county councillor did his best for us, but couldn't help us. And there's a reason. There's 2 votes. We talk about why people don't vote. Well, there's 2 people votes by their own admittance there. I want to give another quick mention, a final mention to our competition, just to make sure all of you who wish to enter do enter. The Cadbury Secret Santa is back, and we're going to be talking about it this week. It's 7 years, believe it or not, of the Cadbury Secret Santa, and it means that you can send someone a chocolate bar, a none. There are QR codes on special posters around the place. If you see one of those, scan it on your phone. They're giving away 22,000 bars across the country over the next wee while. And to celebrate this, we have 2 huge hampers of chocolate to give away, plus, that's at the end of the week, plus a €50 voucher every day to be won. And all we want you to do, really, is tell us why someone would deserve a bar of chocolate and much more, because you could give them a €50 voucher if you wish. What have they done for you? How are they important in your life? Why would you send them? And it doesn't even have to be, a heartbreak story. Maybe they're good fun or a friend or whatever it might be. You know yourself. So why would you give someone a free bar of chocolate? And in turn, you might be able to give them a massive hamper. We've got 2 hampers, one for you, one for them, to give away at the end of the week, and €50 each day. All you have to do is text to WhatsApp 086 60 25,000.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio. The 9 till Noon Show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Get your Christmas shopping sorted at McElhenney's department store. With hundreds of top brands and trending products to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect gift for everyone on your Christmas list. From unique finds to seasonal favourites, shop online today or visit us in-store at McElhenney's Ballybuffet.
Go full Lidl with our roast and toast pairings on Lidl Plus. Love every succulent slice of our Board B approved Irish round roast joint, 22% off, now $6.99. And a perfect pairing is our French Merlot, 20% off, now $7.99. Scan your Lidl Plus app and go full Lidl today. Get the facts, be drinkaware, visit drinkaware.ie.
Your home is likely the most expensive decision you'll ever make. The Property Services Regulatory Authority is here to protect you when you're bidding, buying or renting, should things go wrong with your auctioneer, sales or letting agent. So you can make sure that the most expensive decision you'll ever make doesn't end up costing you more than it should. To learn more about your PSRA consumer protections, visit psr.ie. A message from the Property Services Regulatory Authority.
GiveBlood.ie know we can count on you, our community of blood donors, to be there for others in their hour of need. Blood donors from Ballyshannon should attend the clinic in Colóiste Columkill in Ballyshannon on Monday 2nd of December. Donors from Killybegs should attend the clinic in St Catherine's School in Killybegs on Tuesday 3rd, and donors from Donegal Town and Dunloe should attend the clinic in the Abbey Hotel in Donegal Town on Wednesday 4th and Thursday 5th. Making an appointment is recommended, so call 1-800-731-137 or visit our website to book your time. New donors are vital. Visit giveblood.ie to check eligibility and clinic details, because we count on you.
Shekelatha ama Highland Radio. Arna Dortugat ag Airgrid. Uproar agus forbor an go letrahas na Héireann. Airgrid. Pobl a guachtu, era a guachtu. Heshe.
11:15. Now, coming up this evening, just after 7 o'clock, there is the DL debate, and the presenter of it is Brendan Devaney. He's in studio with me now. Hi, Brendan. How are you getting on?
The very best. Can I give you a break from all the political chat?
Yeah, and indeed, we had a nice little break during the show yesterday because Maureen joined us via Zoom from Park na Dunav as the Downings ladies, and with a bit of comfort, it seems, made history. They reached the All-Ireland Junior Final with a win over the Leinster champions, Kilcock. What a result for them.
Unbelievable, Greg. Listen, I was down there on Saturday. There was a fundraiser.
The helicopter drop.
Helicopter, yeah.
Were you up in the helicopter?
I wanted to fly it, but they wouldn't.
But they let you in it?
They were on about me going up on it.
And?
And I was kind of comparing it, so...
This sounds like excuses.
I stayed grounded.
No, that sounds like
Listen,
excuses.
The company I work for, we used to have a chopper and we used to go up and down to Dublin a wee bit. But hey, I don't know, I got a wee bit spooked by it all then.
Okay.
I was happy enough staying on the ground.
I didn't get a call for anyway, so someone's won 25 grand, and they got good funding for the floodlights there, didn't they? And you have to match that with local raised funding. So hopefully it was a huge success for them. And to follow that, a great buzz, I'm sure, because that was deferred, if I'm not mistaken, because because of the progress of the the Downings ladies team.
Yes.
So it was a big weekend. You had that, and then you had this game, home advantage in a semi-final, an All-Ireland semi-final.
Massive. And as I say, the people down there were great, Greg. Listen, it's always great going to Downings, as you know. The buzz about the place, Cookie and them had organised all that, but the girls were all there. I got talking to a few of them, a couple of wee interviews, kept the crack going. They were going out spiking the pitch where the balls would drop or whatever, so it was good having a bit of chat to them. But I mean, Greg, an All-Ireland final, I mean, that's the pinnacle of the club season, and for these girls, they've made it this far. As you said, it was 1-3-6 at half time, so Downings obviously outscored 4-1 second half, and that's where the game is won. And listen, just dream world. I'll be chatting to Barney Kern later about the fair, and I think Mo might be on as well if I can reach out there. I was texting her last night. So I mean, unbelievable place. They're playing the Limerick champions now, St Paul's, Limerick and Munster champions in the All-Ireland final in 2 weeks' time. I mean, what an occasion for the club.
It's a funny one too, because more so than at a lot of levels, you're going into these games completely blind, aren't you? Because of at this stage, people are from different ends of the country. I mean, you might find a video somewhere or other, but really, you're preparing for the unknown.
Yeah,
both teams.
That's it. And Greg, it's very hard to know. You look at a lot of sport there. You know, there's certain level, and there's obviously, you know, in terms of teams playing each other and familiarity and who's got what, and you have a fair idea how games are going to go. But as you said, completely new territory for any of these teams playing each other. And there was a guy down from Kilcock actually on Saturday. He was down looking about. Now the pitch, I'd have to say, and fair play to the ground staff there, and we were talking to a couple of them, fantastic shape, and they've got the second pitch which is going to be floodlit now as well, so everything was set up. Home advantage massive. I mean, you imagine them girls travelling up. I think they stay by Terrier at the Mount Errigal Saturday evening, and you know, you're coming a long way. You're out of your comfort zone. There's nothing like playing at home, Greg, so it was a huge advantage to Downings, and you'd think that home crowd and that second half made it a good influence in that.
Yeah, momentum's an amazing thing. Both teams went in with momentum, but there's something going on in and around Downings, I think. Fantastic stuff. Look forward to hearing the reaction to that. Apparently, a brilliant game. 4 Masters are the under-21 championships. There's a whole load of new rules they're talking about to make football more attractive.
Yeah.
What new rules? You don't need
That's
them.
right,
This was
Greg.
a cracker.
Listen, 100%. What a game yesterday. I mean, the crowd, brilliant crowd down here. Two teams very well supported. It was moved to down to Fallercherney Park in Ballyshannon, just they were concerned about the weather. But, you know, the day actually, there was a couple of showers, but by and large, conditions weren't too bad. There was a bit of a breeze, but two teams served up an absolutely fantastic game. I mean, 4 Masters, Greg, they are the standard bearers at all underage, and now it's come through the under-21s. That was their first under-21 final about 23 years, and I think the likes of Carol Lacey and Big Durkin and Barry Dunyan and Doherty and these boys were involved. So that's how far it's come up the rankings. They've come to under 21s. The talent that they have. There's only 2 players over age next year, so they've already won it. Now that said, Glenswilly, the heart and I suppose the courage that they showed in the game, because there's no doubt, and this is no disrespect to Glenswilly, this is like every team almost underage that plays 4 Masters. There's so much talent on the other side, but they give it so much guts. They never lay down, and in fact, you know, they were 3 up at one stage in the second half, but 4 Masters had 4 points in that period after it, went into a point lead. Glenswilly equalised, but then 4 Masters hit the last 3 points of the game to pull away. But listen, what a game of football. And as you said, listen, this type of game, you would say, is a rules change needed, but of course
we know that this is the
still,
exception and not the rule. This is a group of players that have come through and have been improving or maintaining and competing at the highest level now, as played out in winning this competition. The senior teams around the county need to be taking stock here, because these boys are coming.
They are, yeah. Listen, I was talking to a few of them after. I was like, what's the magic here? And I was talking away to talk to the management and a few of the players, and I actually met Josh McMullen as well, one of our 92 heroes. And you know, some of them are on about different groups of players coming through, and it's not any one thing. It's not like there's some kind of miracle coaching anything going on. They were, you know, chatting to a few of the guys, you know, around the club. They were saying, listen, we've just got a real good focus. We happen to get a great bunch of crop of players together. Actually, that's more a crop now, because they're dominating all underage. So if anything like this wave come through the senior, there's going to be certainly a new team or a new team coming back to the top again. And you couldn't say, Greg, with this much talent coming through, it's hard sometimes to take it through the seniors. But if you look at all the good teams around the country, and I think of even Glen Mahara, like they won 4 minors in a row before it started to come through the senior, and there's different elements of that around the country, and certainly 4 Masters. You couldn't see any way that they're not going to lift a Dr. Maguire in the coming years.
Yeah, in the Under 21B Championship, I think that was on Saturday, Clough-Neely had a goal and 3 points to spare in their win over Burt. So great celebrations in that local community as well.
It's been a tough year for Clough-Neely, yes. So listen, big boost to the club there. You know, they've had a tough time, seniors, you know, between injuries and players away and that. So listen, great to see something coming through. Well done to Burt as well, of course, making the final. They stayed up in the intermediate championship as well this year. So listen, 2 teams. Listen, my dad had a game with Clough-Neely, just that bit too strong. So say that club certainly needed that lift.
Super stuff. So there's an awful lot to get through. You've got great guests as well. Loads of reaction from the under 21 finals. You have reaction, of course, from the Downings ladies football. The sort of, I'm not elevating anyone over the other, right? But there's just something about Maureen's coverage I find
better than mine.
No, infectious. You're excellent as well. It just feels it's infectious.
Yeah,
Yours is excellent too.
No, and she loves it.
And to be honest, between yourself and the rest of the team too, we're blessed with amazing. Because you know why. I used to do a bit of sports reporting, right? When I was at Northwest Rail as it was, and I went to the Finn Harps games, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong, right? And I loved reporting on it, but I never played the game at any level. You know what I mean? Your GEA through between playing, coaching, whatever. Maureen's the same, and we've got great others amongst our team. Don't get me wrong, but that experience, that understanding of the emotions and the passion and the play, that's what elevates the likes of you and Mo up, you see.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you love it, Greg, I suppose it's one of them, like anybody, if you have a passion for it or what you're doing here, if you like it, it makes the whole thing roll, because you're a bit more invested in it, yeah. I would say leave Patrick Muff, if they mention them. They're in Ruislip this weekend for the All Ireland semi. There's about 100 plus booked already, so fair play to them.
That's a fantastic run.
Yeah,
it's a great story.
What a story, heading away to Ruislip.
And you know what? In a way, it's nice that the deck's been cleared a little bit, and we can focus more on teams maybe that don't necessarily always get the push, but they don't always have the success either, and the push comes with success.
They do.
Right.
Harold Kane's on with me as well. Just to say,
I was just about to say that.
Right. I didn't know if you didn't know.
No, that's fine. He's from the Irish News.
He is.
Park Hilferty.
Park will be up. Yeah, Keha's done a big interview with Jim. Now I'm waiting on Jimbo myself.
You're bringing him on to talk about an interview with Jim. Jim needs to come here.
He is. He's on the pipeline.
I mean, I know you're privy to a fair bit, right? But what would be one question for that you're looking forward to sticking it to Jim, or do you want to keep your powder dry?
It's funny, that's one of the reasons I'm interested. Cahir had a few comments to him about the changing nature of football. Does he take responsibility from it? Which is kind of someone from outside the county can ask that type of question. Now, me, it's not that I'm not really interested in that.
It's not your angle, no.
Because I appreciate what the boys are doing, and I know why they have to do it and what they're doing from 2011 up until this time. So it's a different thing. Like, because I was joking with him, he goes, you know, he thought maybe Jim the interview could be over quick, but I think some of them things people are talking about out there generally in Ulster, and I think that's the difference with Cahir. With me, I'd be more interested in his attitude. Obviously, Dave Murphy coming back, you know, the new rules coming in, what he made of the end for the Galway game, and the thing about it is, I suppose when he looked at 2011, you know, we won Ulster in 2011 and got the All-Ireland semi, but he was very much, he knew what to do going into 2012. It was that explosive counter-attack play that we didn't get right against Dublin.
Yeah.
Whereas this time, not only you have to muse over what happened against Galway, you also have this tsunami of new rules coming in. So it's such a different world. But listen, we've got a man that knows his tactical mastermind. So I think he'll make the best of these new rules, and the likes of Murphy coming back. It'll be a good news story.
We can look forward to that. Tonight we have reaction with Brendan to all of the weekend's action, as we've just been talking about. Pádraig Hilferty is going to be in studio, and also the Irish News GA columnist Carlo Kane will be joining us via video. Brendan, it's live after 7 and available for you to podcast very soon thereafter.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today. Gallon's Bar Ballybuffet, Donegal's go-to spot for live sports and entertainment. With a late licence every Friday and Saturday, we'll keep you dancing until 2:30 all year round. Do you have a special occasion coming up? A birthday, wedding day too, or an anniversary? At Gallon's Bar, we cater for them all. Up to 150 people. Now taking bookings for 2025. Get in touch on social media or call Gallon's Bar Ballybuffet on 074 971 5064 to book.
Slay the season with must-have beauty gifts at Boots. With incredible price cuts and amazing deals on star gifts from Lancôme, Sculpted by Amy, Bare by Vogue, and more. Shop today and don't miss out on the magic at Boots. Selected product stores and boots.ie, subject to availability. Offer ends 24th of December.
At Centra, we've got amazing Christmas simple savers from now until the big man arrives. Like Nestle Black Magic 348 gram and Dairy Box 322 grams €6 each. Jacob's Elite Selected Tins €10 each. And 19 Crowns Wine Selected Range €8 each. Perfect for Christmas. Centra. Live every day. Enjoy alcohol sensibly.
This December, Irwin Expert Electrical is your go-to for Christmas gifting. Find all the top brands: Apple, Samsung, Fitbit, Dyson, Ninja, Shark, LG, and so much more. All at great prices. Looking for the perfect present? We've got it. And with our handy Christmas club, you can shop now and collect your gifts just in time for Christmas week. Irwin Expert Electrical, Letterkenny and Buncrana, making Christmas gifting easy this year.
Every Tuesday morning on Highland Radio, we'll be joining Freya and Colin for Clarissa Carr as we catch up with them for some Can Sugas crack on the way to school.
This Tuesday, they will be chatting about Sean and Regan, August by Jessica for couple of faculty usage freshen. So be Lynn, what Ginger March and Shaw Air Highland Radio.
Do Gú Station, Highland Radio.
Clarissa Carr, Arna Winu, a commission na man, leis an Talia Cadanish Television.
Okay, just another mention of one of two great competitions we've got running on the show today. It's in association with our friends at the Silver Tassie Hotel and Seascape Spa, and it's a chance for you to win this week a Pamper Me Please package worth €130. It's a 2.5 session, 2.5 hour spa package. And it includes a pressure point foot massage, a snooze room relaxation, giving you time for refreshments, stress relieving back massage, and so on and so forth. And to be in with a chance of winning this great prize on Friday, just answer this question. Which Christmas song mentions a one-horse open sleigh? Is it A, Jingle Bells, or is it B, White Christmas. All you have to do, it's the same with the other competition we're running. All you have to do is text or WhatsApp your answer, name and address to 08660 25,000. All right, and good luck if you're entering. Moving on. Hi, Greg. Congratulations on the team's continued coverage from start to end that kept people watching worldwide. Just 3 hours today. Phew. And maybe John McAteer will get a book out of this. Glasha goes to. One of the staggering results was that Sherlock won over The Criminal yesterday, and is Pat trying to break Ellen DeGeneres' Oscar tweet? Now that Jim McGuinness, maybe Michael Murphy and Pat's back too, and Charlie Mack's back on radio. Can they cope with it all? And you get to see Charlie McConaughey one more time, and hopefully not the last time, to congratulate them. Even though it sounded like he was lecturing you how to listen to people, let's hope they're all listening this time. Kevin, thanks very much indeed Thanks very much indeed for that. Right, okay. Let's say good morning now to John Kilgareth. It's part of our Monday Focus. How are you getting on, John? Thanks so much for your time today.
Good morning, Greg. Nice to speak to you.
Okay, now you're a counsellor with the Male Advice Line with the Men's Development Network, and your campaign is about amplifying men's silent struggles. So what can you tell us about that? I mean, is it relative or are there commonalities amongst men around the country that they suffer in silence?
Absolutely. I work on the Male Advice Line, and it's a service that we provide nationwide, free phone service to support men experiencing abuse. It is very important for men to speak out, and we're finding the numbers increasing from year to year, but it's still very important to get that message out there that the service is there for men, and that, again, that suffering in silence can be changed.
Do you think it takes a while for men to realise that they are experiencing domestic abuse, before they even maybe start considering seeking help?
Absolutely, that would be our experience here within the service. And again, it's something that often can be minimised as well, because if the violence is not physical, for example, psychological or coercive control, it can be minimised, and then only the effects over a long period of time. You'll often speak to men here where this could be 10, 15, 20 years, and it's the cumulative effect of that and how it impacts then on physical and mental health.
So when we talk about domestic violence, I think often people, and I would imagine it's people that aren't directly affected by this or don't have knowledge of it, John, would instantly go to physical violence. And you've already sort of referenced this in your comments beforehand. So, domestic abuse is a catch-all for a lot of different types of experiences for people. So can you go through some of those for us and what we see most commonly?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, physical violence is prevalent, but also it can be emotional, psychological, neglect. We'd often speak to men here that would be talking about, being frightened, intimidated, looking for some peace. Again, you could be isolated again from friends, family, suffering constant criticism, being put down. An expression we'd often hear is about walking on eggshells. It could be financial abuse as well. It can come across even elder abuse, or again in situations where with the changes in society that children are spending longer time at home as well. And again, it can be things like mocking, threatening, putting you down in front of other people. And this, as I said, can be minimised, but in reality, when you talk with this for a long, long time, that's where the effects become really, really serious, especially in mental health.
Now, some might say, right, this sounds like, for much of what you're talking about, this sounds like you're in a bad relationship. What are you doing there? But it's not that simple, is it, to just walk away or even to recognise what's going on?
Correct, and that would be one of the things, to recognise what is going on, and it says about making those changes. and especially it can be a lot of factors such as, financial situation, living at home, be that the fact some children are afraid to leave for them issues. And again, it is the importance then to recognise, because a lot of the time, by the nature of abuse at home, it is what goes on at home, it isn't spoken about outside the home. So it is those things, or again, sometimes men will have other people who will speak to them, family members, friends will come and say, well, we're noticing these things about you, and it's to listen to that as well.
And it's about really having the conversation as well, John, because my experience of this, we do talk about domestic violence targeting males regularly in this programme. But often the only time I hear from listeners is when we are talking about specific issues as it relates to domestic violence against women. And I understand why people do that, because people who've maybe have experience of it or what have you, all of a sudden they go, well, I'm going to text in because men experience domestic violence well. And it's difficult because I'm talking about women's plights, and then it becomes this sort of competition between, well, it's women and men. I think it's important too that people sort of advocate for themselves and the likes of what you're doing today, John, separate sometimes, you know what I mean? It needs to be discussed not in the context that it also happens, but as a standalone issue. And I think once we're more comfortable in breaking through those conversations and speaking about it, not just in the context of it happening to women, I think the more the conversation's had, the more we reach people. If that makes sense. Convoluted, it's been a long weekend, John, but I do hope you understand what I'm saying.
I understand. And that summed it up very well, Greg. It is important because when you support, again, the individual, you're also supporting a partner, a family, and it is not a competition between everybody that will come forward that has experienced abuse deserves support and respect, regardless of their gender. And again, a lot of the calls we would take again would be again same-sex relationships as well, where it is male violence perpetrated on men as well. So again, it's the message for people for reaching out, and again with men as well. That the service will also take a lot of calls from other concerned members, be that a brother, a sister, a mother, daughter, etc. So it is about reaching out to people rather than a competition between anybody.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of domestic violence generally, it's, and this is why I think it's important we let people know there are lines like this to happen. It's hard to talk about because, maybe if it's a fella and they talk to their friends, they might feel that it makes them less male or what have you. If they start talking to family members, they're concerned that maybe they can patch it up with their partner, but that sort of toxic notion of their partner would persist. So in other words, there's lots of reasons why you don't talk to people close to you, and I'm not saying one shouldn't, but I would say a lot of people ring the male advice line actually just to say, this is what I think I'm experiencing here. Is this normal? Should this be happening? Is this domestic violence? I mean, obviously physical violence, very obvious, right? But the other stuff sometimes can be less obvious. And I think a lot of the time it's just talking it through and validating feelings.
That is for sure, is very true. And especially that first point of contact as well, of picking up the phone and making that call or reaching out, how important that is. And again, anyone that you're going to speak to working on this line will have experience of that. We'll talk you through this. The service is confidential as well. And it is, just as you said there, it's trying to make sense of an experience as well, because it's easy to think, look, I've been experiencing this for a long time. Isn't this just the way things are? Look, she's a bit controlling, things like that. But it's that change or life not continuing to be how that has been for a long, long time, and where that can start to be changed is very important.
Yeah, and I think it's important too, if people do make that call, that it is it's a listening ear, it's a safe space, it's non-judgmental, because I'm sure it's the same. Well, I'm sure, because I've spoken to an awful lot of people, that sometimes people start trying to mitigate the actions of others in a conversation, if you know what I mean, because it's probably human nature. But you're familiar with all of that. That's all been done before. Every situation is unique. but there's also a broad commonality across it too. And you've got experience of all of that. So how do people get in touch? What's the best way to communicate with the Mail Advice Line?
Well, the line, as I said, the Mail Advice Line is a national free phone service, and it operates over 50 hours a week, and that'll be over 365 days a year also. And the number that people can reach us on is 1-800-816-588. And you can also contact us through our website, which is mensnetwork.ie.
Okay, listen, thanks very much for your time, John. I do appreciate it. Keep up the great work there. That's John Kilgariff, who's a counsellor with the Mail Advice Line with the Men's Development Network. And Aquila says, actually, straight in off the back of that, 100% correct on the discussion around abuse not needing to be a competition. It's mad that some people try to twist it like that. I don't think there's any... and I'm sorry, I'm not criticising what you're saying. I don't think there's anything malicious in it. It's just that I think when people have been, when males have been the victim of domestic violence, and they hear what seems like much more coverage of females being the victims of domestic violence, there's a natural human reaction to say, look, you don't get it. It happens to men too, but we get that. But we don't need to compete. It's not like, well, men... because then what happens is right, it makes out that you're sort of... the women that we're talking about, it makes out that you're bringing them down and elevating. We don't need to do that. We can address it all and recognise that it happens across the board, very sadly. By the way, I'm not reading them all, but we have been inundated with very kind wishes as it relates to our coverage at the weekend of the general election, and we really, really appreciate it, by the way. And we got lots of it yesterday as well, and it's really outstanding because we all enjoy what we do. We really do, and it's a passion as well as a job. Absolutely outstanding coverage, Greg, and all at Highland Radio. Congratulations to all. Huge congratulations to Charles Ward, but keep her lit now. Our redress councillors have been quiet since elected. Let's see you guys roll up the sleeves now and achieve an end-to-end scheme inclusive of community buildings. Let's see a shortened waiting list of DCB testing, regulation of materials and of the scheme so that it's being administered fairly and not making contractors rich. Let's see reduced waste in the scheme, appliances, etc., and all furniture being sold on Facebook as they won't match new decor as there are storages allowances. That needs tightening up. So that's all from one person there. Hi, Greg and team. Great coverage all weekend. Thank you. That comes in from Brian Kelly. Thanks, Brian. Hi, Greg. Can I just pass on my congratulations to all the newly elected TDs from Donegal, but especially to Charlie McConalogue. Objectively, his campaign was subjected to a level of personal abuse that I've never seen before. Well done to him for returning with a strong mandate, and to them all on a very hard fought election. Where did Pat the Cope get all his young supporters from? You engage, don't you? Listen, any candidate that wants to be successful is going to have to engage young people. But from yesterday, lots of people had lots of young supporters as well. You need to engage young people and bring them forward. Well done, Nicky Bradley. We all make mistakes, says Emma. Charlie has worked very hard for Inishowen and Donegal in general. Hope he gets a job in the next government. I wish him well. That comes in from a Malin Fine Gael supporter. Hi, Greg. Can I just pass on my congratulations? Okay, just read that one. Hi, Greg. I'm glad that Charlie Ward got elected for Redress Party, and he sounds coherent and level-headed. I'd imagine he could work with Minister McConalogue and the powers that be. Some of the vitriol spoken by some of his colleagues over the last while has been disgusting, and it would not be easy to sit down and talk to some of those to have satisfactory outcomes to this defective bloc's disaster for the people of our county. We actually do have amazing natural resources, Greg, fishing, which benefits everyone. But my point was, where do you sell that? I'm not arguing with Charlie earlier on. I'm not dismissing what he's saying. If we're going to have real conversations about we need to do what Donald Trump and make Ireland great again, we also do have to talk about how we do that. You know, I'm not going to sit here and like some people on, particularly on the live stream, want just sit there and go, oh yeah. How does that happen? You know, how does leaving the EU help us when it didn't help Britain? You know, if we have more access to our seas, is that how it works? Where do we sell the fish to? Do we sell it enough to sustain the fishing industry? Can the farming industry in this country survive on the open competitive market without the grants from the EU? Genuinely, can it? I don't know. A lot of the people I know in farming wouldn't be at it if they weren't getting support. That's something we realistically have to talk about. In terms of tourism, what would our product be and how could we grow that, and would we still be seen as an attractive place to stay? What if we have our own currency and it becomes quite strong against the euro? Would that discourage people coming to visit here? When the dollar is weak, we do see a fall off on numbers. When the pound is weak, we don't get as many people from Northern Ireland to Donegal County Donegal. These are all facts, right? So we can't just, if we're going to talk about those things seriously, let's have the conversation. But your view has to be challenged so we can tease it out and formulate a plan if that's what you want. There's plenty of elections.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
If you're planning your perfect home for 2025, start at Foy's in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet. From free interior design consultations to expert paint colour advice, we'll guide you every step of the way. Whether you're designing your living room, bedroom or dining room, Foy's have everything you need. Choose from a wide selection of paints, curtains and blinds to suit every style. Your dream home starts at Foy's in Letterkenny and Ballybuffet.
Zach Bryan, live at Phoenix Park. Friday and Saturday, June 20th and 21st. Subject to license. Tickets $121.25 go on sale this Thursday at 8 a.m. Maybe subject to fees. Presented by Aiken Promotions.
Spoil someone with a beautiful fragrance this Christmas from McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. Choose by designer, budget or celebrity. Top names like Clarins, Burberry, Gucci and Dolce & Gabbana. Also great prices on Calvin Klein, Flower Bomb and so many more. The best fragrant gift sets available this year can also be found in McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny and online at mcgees.ie. McGee's, where the best costs less.
Please support the St Vincent de Paul annual appeal. Donate today at svp.ie or call 0818 176 176. Thank you.
The Loganair Black Friday sale is now on, and it's our biggest discount yet. Fly local from City of Derry Airport and save up to 20% off over 1 million seats across the Loganair network. Use promo code BF20 when booking. Book by 3rd December, travel from 9th January. T's and C's apply, offer subject to availability, exclusions apply. Visit loganair.co.uk. Loganair, your journey, our joy.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find the perfect present for everyone on your list this festive season. Discover the joy of gifting and make Christmas magical with McElhenney's Ballybuffet. Visit us in store or online at mcelhenneys.com.
Rightio, let's look at the weather forecast for today, and I have to open it as is the norm. You must be well used to this now at this stage. Plenty of dry weather today with long spells of sunshine and just some showers. Highest temperatures of 5 to 7 degrees with light to moderate northwest winds becoming light westerly by this evening. Now we are joined on the programme by Karen Matvanko-Silkar. My apologies, Karen, if I haven't pronounced that correctly. I tried my best, I swear.
Thanks very much, Greg. So it's Matvienko-Sikar, but I'm used to the unusual pronunciation.
You're used to Egypt's like me making a mess of your beautiful name. My apologies. You are a senior lecturer, of course, at School of Public Health, University College Cork. And we're talking about research, and it was carried out amongst a group of 214 pregnant women and 486 mothers of babies under the age of 2. And what were some of the findings that you feel important, Karen, to talk about?
So specifically in this study, we were looking at the perinatal mental health support experiences and support needs of these women. So what kind of things influence their perinatal mental health? So things like stress and anxiety during pregnancy and up to 2 years after they've had their baby. And what do they feel that they need to better support it? So we identified a number of factors that were associated with poor perinatal mental health. So these were things like people perceiving that they had poor levels of social support from those around them, if they reported that they had low levels of resilience, so kind of felt that they couldn't really bounce back from adversity. When women have pregnancy complications or birth complications, this can lead to adverse psychological outcomes. And similarly and unsurprisingly, the health of the child was tied to it as well. In addition to that, so we had women kind of filled out questionnaires on those kind of factors, but they also spoke to us and told us what they thought. And some of the things that came out in the kind of responses that we got were around challenges around balancing their responsibilities of either becoming a new mom or a mom to another child, around kind of meeting their child's needs, that there were challenges around accessing and awareness of the types of supports that were there for them, and kind of how to get referred to services or even if services existed. And again, social support came out time and time again as being the most important factor for them. And they felt that what they really need is more supports within their healthcare system, so that it's not a case of, what they said to us a lot was that when they're pregnant, there's a lot of focus on them and the baby. And then as soon as the baby's born, the mothers are kind of off you go, left to your own devices. And they kind of felt that particularly in that postpartum period, they needed more help than they get.
And I wondered too, given the fact that overall anxiety was the most common condition. I mean, obviously we're all going to have feelings, right, in various situations. But I'm talking about how we can fix it and support mums better. Do you think a lot of it is I mean, it's a real feeling, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it is punishing themselves because of maybe what is portrayed as societal norms or the perfect pregnancy or the perfect mother, maybe what we're exposed to on social media or on TV shows or what have you. I'm not questioning for a second that women aren't intelligent enough to weed out what's real and what's not real, but I think there's a lot of pressure to come out of hospital or even to travel through your pregnancy and be full of beans and full of energy and full of happiness and hope when you've had the baby, and that's not necessarily a reality for many people.
No, and that's absolutely correct. And that's what the women in this study told us as well, that there is this perception of what a good, in inverted commas, pregnancy is, or what it means to be a good mom. And that's this societal pressure that they get from people around them, who may mean well, but that they also get from the media and particularly from social media
and
as well.
Can I give you an example of that, Karen, if you don't mind? Because even we do it with the best of intentions, but even if we do an information piece about promoting breastfeeding, I know from some new mums, it's horrible because it doesn't work for them for many different reasons. And even though that's a nice constructive conversation and to encourage those that can to do so, it does make a new mum feel like they're not doing what they should be doing or something. So that's how simple it can be to get these to feed these emotions.
Absolutely, and that's a great example because we do a lot of work actually on early infant feeding, including breastfeeding, and we speak with a lot of mums who tell us that exact thing, particularly around breastfeeding. So as soon as they, for whatever reason may stop breastfeeding, that they feel like they're not given any further support or information around how best to feed their infants, and almost kind of like, okay, well, you didn't do that well, so you're kind of almost written off, which is what some of the mums would tell us. So, and it's across the board. There's so many of these little things. And I think for a lot of mums, they feel like they can't disclose that they're feeling these kinds of pressures or that they're experiencing difficulties because you're expected to kind of just get on with it and be able to do it. So we got that from a lot of the mums in this study, that they kind of came back and said, we just felt like we were completely isolated. We couldn't speak to anybody about how we were feeling, and we didn't know where to go to get the help that we needed.
Many people listening today will have been told that they have a high-risk pregnancy. And when you get that information, you think it's very, very rare that you're 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 2,000. And the words are stark, and maybe they have to be stark, of course. And I just wonder maybe if this feeds into some of the anxiety and elsewhere. Being told you have a high-risk pregnancy is actually really quite common.
Yeah, so it's very common. It was very common in this study, actually. We had a lot of women who experienced high-risk pregnancy take part. And I think from our research and other research that's been done internationally, I think it's kind of tied to this idea of that you feel like you lose some of the control over what then is going to happen to you as part of your pregnancy. And that's a very common experience for women, and it kind of makes it a more medicalized pregnancy as well, because you have increased checkups and increased visits, which are all needed, and they're great, and they're looking after the baby. But I think for a lot of women, that kind of ties into that removal from them and how they're processing and progressing. And one of the things that we found in this study actually was particularly after adverse birth experiences. So maybe if somebody needed an emergency cesarean section or another type of intervention that they weren't expecting, that if there were reflective kind of birth sessions or kind of reviewing and explaining what happened to the women and why it happened, because in the moment you don't really realize what's happening and things move quite quickly.
Yes.
But having this reflective time with your healthcare professionals afterwards was actually a huge benefit and a resource to women, because it helped them to process what happened as well.
Yeah.
Because often these things happen, or we're told you're a high risk pregnancy, or this may or may not happen. And that's kind of it. So it's that additional information, that additional support, and that consideration.
Yes, and it's also
dealing,
dealing with that too after you've had the baby. Say, for instance, one of those complications was gestational diabetes. Often, people's blood levels can return to perfectly normal, but you might be told that your child has a greater risk of obesity, or that you might have a greater risk of diabetes into the future, or in preeclampsia with high blood pressure. Many new moms might end up having, some won't, many will. I don't know what the scenario is, but we'll have to deal with a high blood pressure potentially after the birth of a baby. And they're probably not conversations they want to have with their partners or family at the time. So it could be a tough time, can't it? Because that's also stuff that may affect mom and baby after the fact. I'm not trying to startle anyone, but I hope you understand the point I'm trying to make, Karen.
Yes, absolutely. And we actually have an excellent PhD student, Elizabeth Badunde, in the School of Public Health, who's working on the long-term effects, or examining the long-term effects of pregnancy complications and birth complications on women's mental health up until the child is about 12. And we're seeing that it can have lasting effects, some of these interventions. So, again, not to startle anybody, but these things can happen. And often I think, there's an absence of the conversation about it. And without the conversation and the awareness, people don't then know to seek help.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, there's this feeling that postnatal depression only affects you immediately after the baby's born and for a short period of time. When that's not the case. And that's why it's important to have studies like this. And I think it's always good to feel that you're not the only one. I think new mums or pregnant mums can read through this report and realise that, oh, right, that's me. And maybe I can, if I need some supports or whatever, that would be really useful. Karen, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Take care of yourself. All right, bye-bye. That's Karen Matvanko-Sikar, and she is a senior lecturer at the School of Public Health, University College Cork. That's where we have to leave it on the show today. Thank you so much to all of you who text in on various issues. But listen, we're not going to live off the memory of the election forever. But I just want to say a big final thank you to all of you who have listened and watched the show over the shows over the last couple of days, and the team here who worked tirelessly. It has to be said. But you know what is amazing about you guys out there in the comments? It's that, maybe my face was on the screen more than others, or maybe John or Paddy or whomever it might be. But you always recognise the team it actually takes to keep the show on the road, which is very encouraging that you have an understanding of that. Okay, let me see. I'm going to announce the Cadbury winner tomorrow. I want to read it tomorrow. It is from Sarah and family, right? But I'm going to read the story because it's a nice little message there, and we'll kick off with that tomorrow morning. Trying to stay positive and all that jazz. That's the Cadbury's winner. She's won a €50 voucher and goes into a draw for 2 hampers on Friday. Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned.